Welcome to the Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast. This week we've got Jaimen, Corey, and Alex. Randy may be on later, but our guest this week has been a PDGA member since 2022 with one career win at the 2022 Christ the King Innova C tier in the MA3 division. He moved up to MA2 the next year and had two second-place finishes this season in the DisCap Series 2024 number 5, Volunteer Not Flex Finale, and May the Course Be With You, powered by Discraft. He's also the tournament director for this past weekend's MVP Space Race at Jenkinsville. Welcome back to the podcast, Jacob Dunbar.
Thanks for having me.
So how did you first discover disc golf?
I first discovered disc golf, well, I guess it depends. So modern, actually, having a bag of real disc golf discs around 2021, my wife and I, a friend of ours, introduced us to the sport. He claims that he had been trying to get us to play for like a year at least prior to that. And I don't know, I don't have the full recollection of it, but I was glad one day he tried to get us to go and play at Saratoga. So, we finally agreed on some weekend day and went and played. I think we ended up playing the full 18 and just had a really good time with it. And so I think the next day we went to a shop up in Glens Falls. It was kind of a smoke shop or functional glass art shop, I think they call themselves. They had a rack of Innova discs and a few MVP things. So we went there and I picked up the discs that I had played with the day before. There was a Roadrunner and an AVR. And then we went and played Crandall as our second ever round that next day. So that was kind of our first foray into formal, or not formal, but playing true disc golf. But I think looking back since then, we absolutely played a ton of object golf with just, normal Frisbees. We maybe had like one nice whammo and then a bunch of stuff that was like thrown out at parades that had some law office printed on it or whatever. But back at my grandparents' house. So they had at the time like 40 acres of woods. So we would just kind of pick a tree and throw to it and that kind of stuff with, me and my brothers.
No ultimate or anything like that?
Like a few random pickup games in like high school maybe, but I wasn't ever part of it or anything.
Crandall, that's like your home course? It's only a few minutes away from you?
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes. Since then, I dug back through UDisc. So it was July 24th, 2021, that I actually entered these into UDisc retroactively because I realized they weren't on there. And I was able to look back through messages to figure out what days we had played with our buddy and then the day after at Crandall. So it's July of 2021, those 2 days back to back. And then we just played, I don't even know, maybe a total of 50 to 100 rounds that first year that we were into it. Probably closer to 50 on the lower end. It wasn't until the following year that we really got much more involved.
You registered for the PDGA in 2022. So what made you decide to do that?
I think we just decided that we wanted to give tournaments a go. We played in the Senior Center doubles tournament at Crandall. I think that was in May of that year. And that's just a non-sanctioned event. It's, bring your own partner doubles. So my wife and I played together and had a great time with that and just kind of were looking to become more involved in the sport in general. And so I think soon after signed up for, I want to say Whipple City was our first event, but it might have been an event at 1000 AC. Yeah, so Whipple City was our first event. I want to say we got our PDGA numbers, signed up for it. That was also just kind of when I was dipping my toe into the community as a whole. I think I went to a few work days out at Moreau when they were starting to cut in the back nine there. And I think that was the first time I met Jaimen.
That sounds highly unlikely that you would meet Jaimen while doing coursework.
Yeah. He's never out doing anything on the courses for sure. So it was a rare opportunity. But we played that and then we played a handful of other tournaments. The 1000 Acres tournament was really fun. And then there was a Callie McMorrin, who was I don't know if she still is a touring pro, but kind of had a traveling sort of C-tier event series going on that year. And so they did one back-to-back days at Moreau and then CTK.
I imagine that one you get an extra throw in every hole.
For which one?
I'm teasing. You said her name was Callie. So.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I want to say that she was around for an event this year or maybe late last year or something. And I knew that she was going to be in town for it again. And I don't know. I felt like I was at a doubles event and someone said that, oh, they're playing like with Callie. And I knew what Callie meant, but I thought I was like, oh, cool. She actually like came to this event and stuff. And that's really cool. And no, I was wrong. It's not the first time that mistakes happened.
You said your first event was the Whipple City Classic. Do you remember how you heard about that?
Definitely by that point, I was on the Glens Falls Facebook page and must have just been through that. Just heard about it through there. And then I think part of what made us interested in becoming PDGA members and playing in tournaments and all that was we did really get into watching professional disc golf, even like the first year that we just started playing casually. So I don't think we watched in time for Worlds that year, but we kind of caught it, a month or so later. That was obviously the year of James Conrad's Holy Shot and stuff like that. So just watching the competitive events and, at that tier was really exciting. I remember we also planned kind of the full day. I think the Whipple City Classic was a tee time start. And so even though we had tee times like in the morning, we went and we played our round, and then we had basically like a picnic lunch, and we just sat on like hole 7 and, watched everybody tee off there and tee off on 8. And it was, at the time it was crazy. You see all the pro players showing up on the helipad and they just, bomb one past the tennis courts. And like, I don't know, just back then it was like, holy cow, this is such a cool thing. And like, I just remembered being in awe about how good players were and how cool the community seemed and all of that.
You said you were watching disc golf on like video and such. Who was your first favorite professional disc golfer?
I feel like probably James Conrad. And I think that's why I started having an early love for MVP specifically. I mean, definitely part of it was Holy Shot related. I think my third disc, they actually did have some of James's 2021 Worlds envies at that shop in Glens Falls. So I think that's what I picked up next. And that was right when I was starting the phase of like, I need to buy any and all discs I can get my hands on. And I say started like that, hasn't finished or has finished. So definitely James.
Who would you say it is now?
That's tough. I would probably say Simon. He's a pretty popular pick, but I watched a lot of his videos even before he was on MVP. And so when he switched to, that was also like something I was super excited about. But I mean, James, I feel like is very similar to me. He's a very backhand dominant player. And so I've always liked watching him and seeing how he tackles courses where, you have a lot of these top players that, have huge forehands and things like that. I'd say another one is probably Isaac Robinson for similar reasons too. He just seems more of like a laid back kind of person, not like a, overwhelming personality, and also very backhand dominant player.
Jaimen, is that the good Robinson?
Isaac, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Honestly, they're both good Robinsons at this point.
At the stats this year, yeah. Ezra's been
Isaac is
it.
the one who won Worlds twice.
But yeah, Simon, he's just kind of a ball, so it's fun to see the kind of stuff he tries.
Since you started playing in 2021, how many unique courses have you played?
So I have played, I looked on UDisc, I've played 80.
Wait, 80?
Yeah, 80.
And you said you just started playing, basically?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. So one thing that we like always do pretty much is if there is a course anywhere remotely close to somewhere we're traveling, we'll try to hit it. I'm from Indiana and Amanda's from southeastern Michigan. And so whenever we travel back home, we might try a course or two in that area, maybe one that we have played, but usually it's something new, just checking it out. And then we've also had the opportunity, last year we traveled internationally twice. So we went to Europe as part of like a larger family trip. We started in Scotland and then went through the UK down to France and then Germany right at the end of the trip. But we were able to actually get rounds in Germany. There was, I can't remember the name of the course, but we were actually at the airport ready to fly back. We had gone through security and all that stuff, and the flight ended up getting pushed to the next day due to, technical errors or whatever, something wrong with the plane. So we had to go back through customs, get out of the airport. They put us up in a hotel, but then of course, my brain, the first thing I was thinking of is like, oh, we suddenly have, most of a day to kill. Let me see if there's a disc golf course nearby. And it turns out there was one that was only like 15, 20 minutes away, something like that. Since Amanda and I had gotten so into it, we also kind of roped in her brother and her dad. So now they're also, big disc golf players. They don't play as many like tournaments and stuff. But yeah, and so they were all on board to check out, some course right around there. So we got around it in Germany. And then we actually intentionally, as part of the trip, there is a town in Scotland called Dunbar. And even though Dunbar is actually an adopted name for me, I don't really have heritage there that I know of.
Still cool.
I couldn't pass up the opportunity to check that out. I think it's called Bluebell Woods, something like that. Yeah, Reboot Disc Golf, the Bluebell Woods course in Dunbar, Scotland. It was really cool. And I remember reading on the UDisc page, it was like, oh, contact this guy Seamus if you want to go play this course. And so I texted him or something like that and said, oh yeah, we'll be here around this time, yada, yada, yada. And I go there and I'm expecting with the name Seamus that it's, someone of Irish descent or maybe, Scottish or someone from the UK. It turns out the guy was from Massachusetts. And grew up in the area and like was a local for a long, long time playing Maple Hill and all of that stuff. So that was just like a really weird moment of like, oh, hey, you're actually like from almost the same area I am. But he just kind of brought disc golf to the area and built this really, really nice course out there. So that was a lot of fun to play.
So you would say the Germany course, that's the farthest you've played from here?
I forgot to mention the other international trip we were able to take last year. My brother kind of on a whim invited Amanda and I to accompany him and his girlfriend on a trip to Japan. At first we were like, I don't know, we've already done one international trip this year. And then he offered graciously to cover our flight as like a late wedding present. So we kind of couldn't say no at that point. But
did he go for the drinks package as well?
No, we were flying in some economy thing with our knees, shoved up to our chest, I'm sure. But no, so we did actually also get to play, I think we just played one round in Japan. It's kind of unfortunate. A lot of the courses there are kind of smaller and inaccessible, but there was one park course that was like pretty short, but very nice.
But that's the question, which is further, Germany or Japan? Because Japan, I would imagine you go west.
Google map it.
Yeah.
I don't wonder that much, Corey.
You're asking the question. I'm looking it up now, too. I don't know how to look up just raw distance, though, on Google Maps.
Type in as the crow flies. Do crows cross oceans?
My guess here, I'm just going to zoom out on a globe. Oh, yeah, it's got to be Japan, I think, just because we're on the eastern side of the United States.
A flight to England, I think, is 6 hours. A flight to California, I think, is like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Germany to England is much closer than California to Japan. I guess that would be the way I'd break it down.
Yeah. Our flight to Japan was like 10, 11 hours one way and like 12 another way. So I guess that's a quick way of answering. But yeah, and there was also like a tiny little disc golf store. I feel like there's like one in all of Japan. That was super cool to check out. If anyone else ever has an opportunity to, highly recommend it. I think it's called DD Jam. So we got some cool discs from there with like their local shop stamp and all that. Because we went there right after Worlds up at Smugs last year. And he actually had like the Jomez coverage on the TV. And because we had gone up there and volunteered, I was trying to like find us in the video because we were able to hold the like scoring sign and stuff like that for the final round.
Alex has done that.
Yeah, that was my job this past year.
Oh, nice. Oh, up at Smugs?
At Maple Hill.
Okay, nice. So we were trying to look for us in the video, but he also had just tons of discs of like going back into the 90s and stuff of like world championships and stuff, probably signed by Ken Climo and the like. So it was super cool. It's almost like a mini museum and shop. I'd say like an eighth of the size of like New York Disc Golf Supply, just for like reference. Like it was super, super tiny, but it was, super cool.
Nice. Corey, when did you start playing disc golf?
I'd say spring 2017. I probably played around a month or so.
And how many unique courses have you played?
71 according to my UDisc.
Okay, I figured it was something like that because of the way you responded when he said 80.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was Mr. Worldwide over here.
Oh yeah, Amanda did the number crunching for me. So we've played 5 countries. So US, obviously, Scotland, Germany, Japan, and Canada. We actually played a few rounds of disc golf on a northeastern cruise during our honeymoon when we stopped in like Maine and Nova Scotia. Yeah, and then we've played a few California, Golden Gate Park. Super, super cool. Probably one of the best courses I've ever played.
Jaimen, you've played there, right?
Yeah.
Is it that nice of a course?
It's a really cool course. For me, like I look at courses like how would this fare in a tournament? And that course would not fare super, super well in a tournament. There's like a lot of overlapping fairways. Not crossing fairways, but just overlapping. It's a super fun course. I really enjoyed playing something like that. It's obvious how much the community has put into that course. And it's just so well taken care of and so well built out that it's really worth to play.
The park itself is gorgeous. It's super cool. And I think definitely there's like fairways that don't quite cross each other, but kind of like switch back, so you have a chance of throwing into somebody else. And I think I saw UDisc say it might have been one of the like most played courses in maybe the world.
I believe that,
so like having that much traffic definitely doesn't help either. But
well, it's a big city that has a disc golf course. I mean, if it's Golden Gate Park, I imagine it's got to be near San Francisco, right?
Yeah. It's
a rare situation to have a nice course in a big city. So makes sense that it would have a lot of players there.
For sure.
Jaimen, you had a question.
Okay, so wide open field, 200-foot shot, no wind. What are you going to throw?
I feel like on a good day, I can just throw a big hyzer with a pig and just kind of hit. I would say like 200 is approaching my max on just like a full hyzer the entire way. But yeah, I like the pig on a hyzer just to stick at a, kind of specific distance on an approach and not kind of have to worry about, I don't know, more of a straight shot where I have to, I guess you said no wind, but yeah, I'm more content with that kind of stuff.
And you're backhand, right?
Yep, right.
All right, Corey, what do you got?
Okay, so Jacob, you and your wife, it's about 10 years in the future. You've been married for however long that is. I don't know when you got married.
What it is now plus 10 years.
Yeah.
About 12 years.
You decide you're going to renew your vows. So your brother's like, well, I gave you this gift the last time you got married, and now you're getting married again. So I feel like I have to book your flights to another foreign country, specifically so you can go play disc golf. You decided that Japan was cool, but you want to do something maybe a little bit better. So you decide to go to New Zealand. You get to New Zealand, and then that's when all hell breaks loose. You get abducted by aliens. Luckily, you had your bag on, and due to like technical limitations at the time, it wasn't able to transport or teleport your body and your full bag. So during the translation, you lost all of your discs except for 5 discs. What 5 discs are you going to play on an alien planet where you don't know how strong the gravity is to put up your best score?
I get 5. Does that include putting putter?
But we do normally do 5, right? Or is it 3?
It's normally 3 plus the
like
putting
three.
I mean,
putter.
3. You're right. So you had 3 discs this time.
It's your question, Corey.
I was going to say, you're the first person that's had to play on another planet, so I think you get
Mhm.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So I think he gets 5, but that includes a putting putter.
Yes. Yeah. So you have 4 discs.
Yeah, so 1 extra from normal. I was definitely thinking about what my answer would be to this ahead of time.
I didn't think of the question ahead of time if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. So I would probably go with a pig. I think that's like my favorite, just easy approach disc. It's super beat in at this point, so I can kind of use it for that hyzer line, or I could throw it pretty hard and straight, and it has just like a hair of a finish to it. I would probably bag. I have a proton servo. Specifically, I started throwing it because I got it from our first tournament we ran last year, so the Circuit Challenge, and that's fairway driver. It's kind of like a beat-in T-bird sort of level, so fairly neutral, but a little bit of fade at the end. But you can kind of work it in most situations.
A servo also sounds like something that might come in handy had you had to try to MacGyver your way back to this planet.
Mm-hmm. That's like all MVP discs are good. They're all like kind of technology and stuff. What else? Probably an Impulse, which is a sort of flippy 9-speed. I don't know if flippy would be good in low or high gravity, but I think just as far as like shot shapes go, throwing like a sort of hyzer flip to flat or turnover is probably one of my favorite like shots to throw. So, and that's one of the I sort of started with a Roadrunner, like I said earlier. So learning to throw that and use that as an excuse for a forehand or as a fake forehand was something I learned kind of early on. Pixel would be my putting putter at the moment. And then I feel like I need something like stable. I have a resistor, an Eclipse resistor that is just super, super beefy. It's like the flattest disc I've ever seen. Yeah, I think that's good like utility kind of disc. That one. I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, good picks. We'll see how it'll work out for you in 10 years.
All right.
On a alien planet.
Yep.
Was that the first tournament that you ever ran, was the Circuit Challenge?
Yeah, we ran one last year and then again this year.
Okay. The MVP space race at Jenkinsville, that was this past weekend, right?
Yep. Yeah, this past Saturday night.
How did that go?
It went really well. We had kind of a small field, only 18 players, but everyone who came out said they had a great time with it. I don't know, no real like mishaps or anything. It definitely took a little longer to get everything set up than I'd kind of anticipated, but got everything up and going in time. My mother-in-law lives in Albany, so she's been coming up and helping with our tournaments, and then Amanda's brother also has been flying in from Michigan. He's flown in for all 3 this year, actually, and was able to play those. But anyways, and so had his up as well to get everything going in time. We actually did like some light math. I think we had like, not counting the lights on just the baskets, we had like 150 to 200, somewhere in there, lights that we just set up around the course.
Wow.
A lot of those were like, because of the scoring system that we kind of borrowed, we marked like the 15-foot circle around the basket with some like they're kind of like the like fiber optic lights kind of thing, but like if it was like a little handheld wand, kid's toy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck a bunch of those in the ground to kind of act as, markers that you could see at night and all that. So yeah, but overall it was a good time. And I think went over pretty smoothly given it was our first glow event.
Did you not play?
I did not. I thought about it and definitely could have, especially given that there weren't, a ton of players, like it was in a huge field. But I don't know, just kind of by the time everything got set up, was just content with kind of hanging out and watching people throw. We intentionally put a temp hole right near where Tournament Central was. So, for everybody just kind of hanging out there, we could see people come through and hopefully throw some aces. But
Looks like Erin from Hernandez won the novice division. The female division was won by Kat Backman. So there was a point system.
Yep. I don't know if the points were exactly the same, but we kind of copied Mark Bryan. Am I getting the name right?
Yeah, no T.
Okay. Who I think did the Colonial Acres ace race.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. I'm just like second guessing actually around the time that I was trying to figure out what the format was going to be for this event, you guys aired that episode. And so I was like, oh, sweet. This sounds great. I'll just yoink this. My main concerns with running a space race event or, an ace race type event was just how do you make an event that is fun for as many people as possible, beginners or not. And so, yeah, barring that kind of scoring system of where aces obviously count, metal hits count, but then also just getting it close counts. And also, you have a chance to make up a few points just by kind of throwing approach shots. I think helped everybody feel like they were, scoring okay and, not showing up with a, 0 on their final score.
Absolutely.
Spent a little time this morning putting together a fancy stats spreadsheet. Let me know if you can see that or not. I was kind of curious to see what holes did the best and what holes did the worst, and just kind of scoring across the board for all of these, just as like a fun experiment to see running an event like this in the future.
Absolutely.
Where to take it. So
Jaimen's going to use this for course redesign stuff over the summer next year. Yeah.
Yeah. So our layout specifically, I don't think we used any one real hole. It sort of makes it feel like maybe fake aces if those were hit. But I think also, especially given it was glow and a new course a lot of players are unfamiliar with and all that stuff, having these shortened holes, I think, helped kind of make it a more approachable event. So these aren't like the whole numbers and stuff like that, and distances aren't true to the real course. So unfortunately, we did not have any ace. We had 20 metal hits, so a good number of close calls, and then 226 shots that landed inside the circle. Yeah, just kind of curious to see amongst which of the holes, like what scored the best, what scored the worst. Hole 5 for this layout at least, which is hole 15's basket on the true layout, definitely proved to be the toughest. I think it was the second longest, and part of the problem was that the basket is tucked in the woods from sort of like an open field shot. So a lot of players are having trouble kind of in the dark getting through to, where the basket was. And especially so, there's unfortunately some big piles of leaves kind of right in front of that entrance to either side of it. So we had a few backups, not too bad, but at one point, because a few people lost discs in the pile of leaves and had to go kind of traipsing through them to find them.
It looks like Cody Conine won the AM division by 2 points over Jim Burns. Cody Conine shot a 39 to Jim Burns 37.
Yeah. I think Cody looked like he overall just had a lot of tee shots that ended up within that 15-foot mark, which, usually C1 you're happy with right off the tee. And granted, a lot of these are shorter shots, but he crushed it, getting within, half that distance on quite a number of them. And I think Jim definitely shot really, really well too. Not that I really set expectations for how people are going to play, but he was one I was excited to see, shoot really well, just given his, skill level or the skill levels across the board. I was happy basically with just the scoring format and how it kind of equalized things. Nobody was out there completely dominating and no one was out there, not scoring at all. So I think it worked out really well.
It looks like 15 points separate the top 15 spots in AM. So that's not a huge separation. Do you have any events planned for the rest of this year?
Not for this year, no. I think we'll definitely try to do some of the MVP circuit events next year. Just kind of seeing what they announce as possible events. But yeah, for this year, we're kind of all done, all done playing and hosting.
Got like a month and a half left in a year, so it's not a lot of time anyway. But you don't have anything official for what your next event will be. You just have ideas at this point.
Yeah, I would say we're with certainty, assuming they run it or MVP has it, we'll be doing a circuit challenge again next year.
Awesome.
But that would probably be kind of middle of summer, like July, August, somewhere in there. And maybe we'll run something before that, but I don't know. So far, it's been nice to do these kind of MVP tournaments because they're easy to set up and everything. And I don't know kind of what their offerings are going to be for next year. So
I did want to mention while we were talking about the space race, the week before, I think November 9th, Riverside did their space race. Looks like the FA1 division was won by Shayna DeSapio. She shot a 50, beat Eglantine Travesty by 1 stroke. And the MA1 division was won by Tyler Ferrati. He beat Mike O'Brien by 1 stroke. Alex Zanuski came in 3rd. Brian Heller had a 3-way tie for 4th. He tied with Jackson Colmorgan and Max DeFrancisco. They shot 45s. There was a tie for 7th place. George Henry and Peter Mallon tied with Copernicus Elbows. I just wanted to say that name. So I mentioned all the way down to 7th place. Copernicus Elbows. I hope that's that dude's real name.
I don't know. He must throw really good forehands or something. I don't know why. Sounds like a nickname for some pro player.
Yeah, that's crazy. One other question for you, Jacob. What is your go-to course beverage?
Ooh, I'd say for casual rounds, definitely a beer.
Any particular brand?
Not exactly. I like trying new things. I'd say generally I stick around, for disc golf at least, just kind of New England IPAs or, just like a lager or something like that.
Not a particular brand. Is there a particular percentage you try to stay around?
Doesn't matter too much. I'd say the types I drink are around like 6 or so. Kind of that single IPA. Nothing too strong. I'd say my favorites are probably, I do really like Albatross, which is the one that Northway has. And they kind of put it together for the disc golf community and kind of feature it, so to say, for the putting league that they host. And then in downtown Glens Falls, there's Mean Max Brewing, and they do it's called Rooster Comb, and that's a double IPA that's like kind of really juicy and like citrusy.
Rooster Comb, like a hair comb?
Yeah, that's how it's spelled. I don't know what it's referencing something.
Have the Urban Dictionary.
Rooster comb?
Yeah, do you know
like the mohawk on their head, right?
I could see that, yeah.
Oh, it looks like they do have a lot of beers there that are, I think, like skiing hills or mountains or trails and stuff. So it looks like it's a local trail somewhere around Lake Placid area.
It sounded like Corey found something based on that laugh.
I didn't find anything.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay, so the name of a trail?
Yeah, name of a trail or name of there's on lakeplacid.com. There's a Rooster Comb Mountain.
Oh, well, there you go. Even better.
Jacob, you like to do events and whatnot. When it comes to player pack items, think of one player pack item that you've received or that you've included in your events. Which one was your favorite for any reason? And then explain your reasoning.
Man, I'm trying to think through all of like the random junk, but like all the stuff I don't ever use or touch anymore.
Or a follow-up question, and what is one that you've gotten or acquired through player pack items that you do still use with any type of frequency? It could also be a Frisbee.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a few discs that I've gotten from events that are still in my bag. I think I still throw a couple of pigs from Whipple City, which was, I think, the first event I played in, or first rated event. I don't know. We've gotten like nice, like little trifold like stool things. We've gotten, I don't know, some cool minis. I've still not really gotten to using it much, but the like Stonykill minis were really cool from last
Thank
year.
you.
Even though we didn't end up playing, but yeah, I don't know. I did the satellite tournament down at Maple Hill last year, the MVP one.
Sure.
And that had a pretty good players pack. Had like a bag and stuff and like a sweatshirt. I think I had a bag. Is that right?
Yeah, I had one of the, I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's the like beginner bag.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a, lunchbox style bag, but like one step up from that.
One of my favorite player pack items, and everyone always says, "Oh, why did you switch to pro?" Oh, because I didn't want to get this anymore in player pack items. First of all, my favorite player packs items were always non-Frisbee related items. Well, I guess you could still throw most things you got in a player pack, but not as far as regular disc. One of the player pack items that I feel like I use the most and still use to this day is the Mighty Gaw pizza cutter.
Yep.
I literally just used it.
That was my thing that I was going to say, was like, that was the most memorable one that I'd ever gotten.
Just because like you didn't really have a pizza cutter before, and so that was now the one in your house.
I don't know. First of all, like, it's a pizza cutter. Like, it could be a pretty basic item, but I feel like a lot of times they get too fancy, which just makes them hard to clean. Like, this is one of the most basic pizza cutters I've ever owned. It's literally made out of plastic.
The cutter part too?
I think the cutter part is plastic
wow.
too.
Is it ceramic or is it plastic?
It's plastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jaimen.
I use mine all the time.
Oh, because there's three of us. We use the shit. We use shit of it, and it's literally just two pieces of plastic, and you can separate the blade from the handle and put it in your dishwasher. Like, you don't have to worry about like getting no nooks and crannies or like having the blade rust like around the axle or anything. And it was probably I don't know how much they paid for it, and I don't know where it came from. But either way, it was a super cheap player pack item that even the pros got, and I used the shit out of it.
Mighty Gaw traditionally has some of the best non-disc golf related player pack items. Stool, flask.
A lot of different beer glasses a year.
Yeah, pint glasses for sure.
I like a good towel. I feel like for a lot of AM stuff nowadays, I've really appreciated the ones that just give like 978 credit. You know, it's not like another disc for the shelf. It's like something I'll definitely use. And especially this year too, because we were able to transfer that and use it for our team challenge merch. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's been pretty sweet.
hoodie
for
with
sure.
it and stuff like that. So that was really
I'm trying to buy 978 credits, like food stamps. I will give anyone like about $40 in cash for $50 at 978 credits, because I got Team Challenge gear to order.
I think it made sense when, you know, disc golf first started getting really popular to do the discs. But now at this point, I think credit makes more sense, because before it was like, give me plastic. You know, I need to build up my back stock, I guess. But now it's, you want to be more picky after you've got a certain amount. So for a new player tournament, it's fine. But for some of the more established tournaments, you almost, I think the store credit works better.
One of the last like AM tournaments I played that I can remember was at 501. Was it NIFA? Was it NIFA finals? Maybe a few years ago. Anyways, the money I got from like my position, I literally went to the 978 tent and I bought 2 pairs of socks, some beef jerky for the ride home, and something else. And yeah, none of it was not a frisbee or anything to actually use like on the course. Like, I don't need any of this stuff. Let me get some snacks for the ride home and new socks.
Well, chances are, if you do, it's going to be like a backup disc anyway that might not necessarily go in your bag, just as a spare if you lose it or something.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of already usually get, assuming a disc comes with, if we're still on the topic of players packs, obviously, but like, if I have a disc that has the tournament stamp on it, I don't really need 2.
Yeah, I feel like the best of both worlds is like credit as part of the players pack, and then for AMs, obviously part of the payouts, but then just having tournament stamped discs available that you can spend the credit on. I guess that maybe pushes the risk onto the store a bit. Like, they might have a bunch of discs that don't sell, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if you could work out a deal like that with like 978 or something, because that's definitely the one thing that has stopped me from just straight up adopting the credit model is, you know, I want to have a fancy stamp. I want to design a stamp. I want to have, you know, like a disc that's a, you know, memory of the tournament.
You want people to talk. Is it a donut? Is it a sausage, egg, and
Exactly.
cheese? Or a bacon, egg, and cheese?
And then also part of that is, because I'm the one ordering the discs, I know that there are things that I'm going to throw. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I can understand why other people might not have that as much.
Yeah, I'm definitely biased a little bit in a similar way with like, you know, MVP specifically. So the tournaments we've ran obviously have been all MVP stuff. So it's generally like, I want a disc in each of the discs that we're giving out to players for ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's typically like Innova molds or, you know, stuff I don't really throw. I generally just kind of put them on a shelf or hand them off to somebody. We do like to keep one though, like you said, kind of a commemorative thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But after so many tournaments, it's starting.
Yeah,
to
then it
pile
becomes
up.
like maybe a specific tournament, because you don't need one for everyone. But you know, this one tournament I go to every year, I want to get, you know, I want to have them all, or this Pokemon generation, you know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're going
I'm
for.
surprised you didn't call it Pokemon, Pat.
Figure we had a couple team challenge matches, right? Both teams played this week, right? Stonykillers and DisCaptain?
Yep.
Sure did.
Corey, you guys went out to Maine. How'd that go?
Well, first of all, it started with leaving Friday morning to go out there and practice the course. Me and Brian rolled out together. I bet you can't guess who was the first ones to get to the park. I don't think there was anyone at the park, even just like locals, earlier than we were. Didn't really have an idea of like what the courses were going to be like as far as how long it's going to take to play etc. And with like Maine being pretty far east on the Eastern time zone, like sunset's a little earlier out there. So we got there early to play both courses. So it's funny that the courses are literally called Devil and Demon, and pars aside, it's pretty simple and mostly short holes. They don't really have as much teeth as like the names would suggest. But it was fun. I think both courses were like fun golf to play. So yeah, after we were practicing the first day, I felt like either team would have a chance. You didn't really have to have like a strong arm to get to a lot of the holes to score on. It was just going to come down to like who was putting better and who could give himself a chance, basically. A whole group of us had stayed up at a Airbnb. I don't remember what the lake was called, but there was like, I think a group of like 13 of us the first night. And I know like Jaimen and a few other people, they didn't stay for the second night. Like a lot of us did, and played a course on the way back. Well, I say a lot of us, a lot of the people that were staying in the Airbnb, like there was like probably 7 or 8 of us that stayed to play on Sunday, but played some Catan, tried to stay up for that stupid Mike Tyson fight on Netflix. Obviously that was garbage. I'm sure most people felt, other than a couple of the fights.
Was it garbage because of the fight or because of, or did you have lag issues?
Both. But it was funny, like Netflix on the TV was having issues, but the Tower of Power, Jason Gorsuch, he pulled it up on his phone and it worked fine, even on the same Wi-Fi.
Well, duh, he's the Tower of Power.
Yeah.
Apparently he's the Tower of cell phone reception as well. So.
But you kind of knew that was going to be a bunch of bullshit anyway, so you can't hype something up that much and expect it to actually meet the expectation. Like, it was doomed for failure to begin with, but I thought everyone kind of felt like that was going to be the case.
Absolutely.
So then, yeah, Saturday morning time for the match. The other team had like gallons of coffee available for breakfast, and they were making burritos or something, Jaimen, or were they pre-made breakfast burritos?
I'm not sure. I didn't actually get to the breakfast burritos.
Yeah, me neither. What I did have for breakfast was some pudding shots and some apple crisp cheesecake squares. Yeah. And Jaimen did matchups.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. You guys are hosting a match at J Park, and I'm on the opposing team, and it's Friday. If I call up or send you a message, Jaimen, hey, I know we're playing tomorrow. Can you tell me what layouts we're playing for tomorrow? Would you answer that or no?
I always would, but now it's also in the rules that say we have to.
Okay. It's probably a question that's been answered in the past. Once we stop recording, all team challenge information seeps from my head somehow. I'm sorry. Go ahead as far as matchups.
So matchups went really, really well. I thought that there was some mistakes on the other end that we were able to kind of take advantage of. And I think that with basically all of the scouting of Justin, Muccelli, and Jason, we were able to put together a really comprehensive look at the team in a lot of ways that I hadn't quite ever considered doing or figured out a way to do. But those two are much smarter with math and just sitting down and analyzing stuff. So I think we had a really robust scouting report. We were able to, I think, do a very good job with our matchups. This is a course that our team has never played before. I think out of the entire team, one person had played it prior to Friday. Some of us hadn't played it until at the match on Saturday. So yeah, the matchups went really well. They took forever. For some reason, Gavin is a very slow guy, and he's the one that was handling matchups. And it just seemed to take like 45 minutes, where usually like a long matchup takes like 20 minutes.
So matchups went well. Corey, how did your singles match go?
It was good. Played on a card with Adam Selman, so we were able to we vibed together, I guess, as the kids would say these days. Played against a couple of guys named Alex, spelled really weirdly, ALIC, and Ryan, spelled
RYAN.
Yeah, RYAN.
That weirdo.
So Adam's matchup went really well for him. He was able to kind of like take a strong lead and hit some really good putts, and he only had to play 2/3 of a round at 165. My match was a lot closer. I felt like the guy I was playing was like, we were like equally, it was a pretty equal match.
I mean, he was their best player, right? I assume.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't know how Jaimen was able to do it every time, but yeah.
The man researches.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers that he said Justin was putting in, he had to factor in that constant, and the constant being the Corey constant.
Mm-hmm. It's Corey C, man. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So anyways, I think Alec had like taken a point on me, and we kind of went back and forth. But there was never any point in the match where I was actually leading. I had put together like a 4-hole stretch. I was able to win 3 of the holes to kind of get me back into contention. I believe it came down to the very last hole. I was down 1, and basically I was able to, kind of throw a not a great drive, but better than his. And the first course we played is more in the open, and there was definitely a strong wind throughout. Well, I wouldn't say strong, but like at least a medium wind throughout the entire round. So there were certain instances where I didn't have a great drive. I would kind of get close to make an easy 3, and the other guy would have an attempt to make a 2, but with the wind and some of the sketchy greens and elevation changes, there was at least 2 or 3 times where he tried to win the hole, and because of that, he ended up losing it because his putt, sailed or whatever. So the same thing happened on the last hole, and I was able to win the last hole to force a push, which doesn't feel as good as a win, but it felt better than losing like I was going to the entire match. I was just behind the whole time. The other thing is the course is really interesting. Like, I don't know if it's because it's Maine or whatever, but they have like these little smoker huts at like, it seems like every hole. It's not every hole, but some holes have 2 sheds. So it was nice that we played up there now in November when it was like 50 degrees and sunshine. But I feel like it'd be a different story if we played that course like February, potentially in a blizzard and a foot of snow.
So what about your round, Jaimen? How'd you do?
So singles went pretty well. I played with Troy Vasari. He's always just a fun person to play with. Trying to think. I was playing against this guy named Jared, and Troy was playing against Miles. Jared is one of those guys who, like, probably if you get him off of his home course, he's not going to do much. He's just got, like, this high, really, like, swoopy forehand that he can put, like, almost exactly where he wants it, but, like, doesn't have too much distance with it. And if he doesn't know the hole, I feel like he wouldn't be much of a player. But we were at his home course, so it was just constantly back and forth with him. I went up 2 early on, and then he came back and went up 2, and then I evened it out. It was back and forth the entire time. I think by the time the match ended, we maybe had like 2 or 3 pushes on the entire round, which was good. I had actually forgotten where we were at one point, so I thought we were tied. So I was able to lock it up on our second to last hole. He just doinked like a 15-foot putt. One thing about him is he plays like super fast. He was the type of guy that like would catch you mid-sentence all the time because of just how he would just like walk up, and as soon as like his foot touched the tee pad, he was off. He was throwing. And it didn't bother him. It's not like he was getting mad about it. So if that's your thing and you don't care that somebody's talking while you're throwing, then more power to you. But he was a really nice guy. So I was able to walk away with a win. Troy was not as lucky. He was playing really, really well. He was just putting everything down the middle, but Miles would like throw it out of bounds and then make like a 40-footer to push the hole and like that kind of stuff. It was just like, 1 or 2 tiny mistakes here or there ended up being the whole game. I think Troy lost 3-2 after really playing as good, if not better golf than Miles for the entire time. Miles was just able to capitalize when he needed to. But yeah, so coming in from singles, I felt good about my match. The recipe in match play is to split all the cards if you can, and then get a couple pushes here, a couple double wins on a card, that kind of stuff. Try to avoid losing both the matches on any of the cards. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be ahead after singles. So things were coming in pretty well. There was one card, anybody familiar with the team will not be surprised that the final card to come in about 20, 25 minutes after everybody else had was the Tim Giardini and Matt Cully card. Those guys come in. In their defense, they also had a very far starting
14.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's like...
If it was FDR, that's the farthest, but I don't know about Maine.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Like FDR kind of does a figure 8. This course just kind of like goes out and then back and does a couple like loops with that.
It's like an M.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's
something like that.
Maine. That's
an M in calligraphy.
Yeah, it was kind of all over the place a little bit. But so there were some pretty far walks out there, I guess. But, we were sitting at, I think at the time it was 12.5 to 9.5, getting nervous, trying to figure out what's going on with those guys. And then they finally come in and Tim won his and Matt pushed his, which, like I said, is like always what you're trying to do. Corey's card was the same thing with a win and a push. That's 75% of the points going towards our team. So that's awesome. But after everything shook out, we ended up at 13 Maine, to 11 us, which for an away match like that is a really, really cool thing to see. Obviously, a lot of fighting. If you look at down the scores, there's a lot of really close matches, a lot of 2-1, 2-2, that kind of stuff. So most people played almost all holes to get their wins or to stave off getting beat and that kind of stuff. And so feeling pretty good after that, getting ready, going into lunch, kind of figuring out my double strategy. We were feeling pretty good. We felt like we had a really good shot at beating them.
Just a couple notes. I see Josh Wynn won, new edition, re-edition, I guess. Jason had a push. Caitlin Clay won her match. Kyle Hirsch won his match. Justin Michelli won his match. From what my understanding is, Maine has a lot of pay-to-play courses. Is this one of them?
Yep, this is like in a guy's backyard.
Okay. How does that work? Do you just split it, or do they not charge for Team Challenge?
I don't know exactly. It kind of depends team to team. For this one, they said that they covered us, but I would kind of be surprised if they had to pay these. There were other people out on the course kind of throughout the day, because being that there are 2 courses there's always a free course.
All right. So what about the spread?
I thought the spread was awesome. One of the guys, I believe, was one of the brewers for Maine Brewing Company, which makes some excellent beer. So they had like big bottles of that everywhere. Like Corey said, they had warm coffee at breakfast. I was a huge fan of that, having a nice cup of warm coffee that wasn't from Dunkin' Donuts during matchups. A welcome change. I stayed to like the salad table. They had a bunch of like cold salads and stuff at first, and then they had a ton of crock pots, but I opened up the first like 3 or 4 and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find anything in these. So I just kind of turned around and did back to guacamole.
There was a big ass bowl of guacamole. I was crushing it.
Big bowl of guacamole. It was created by a guacamole veteran. They had like pits in there and everything, so it stayed green. Really well seasoned. I was very impressed. I spend a little too much time thinking about guacamole, I guess, but it was really good. And then I thought that it was like apple cheesecake something or other strudel. I don't know. It was that was super good.
It was made by a kid. Usually, like a kid like that will just like buy a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not show up with freaking 2 desserts in one. Apple crisp cheesecake. Because that was it was cheesecake. It was good, but it also had the top layer was apple crisp. I'm a sucker for some good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super quality stuff all around. And they also had individually wrapped little tiny like sandwich rolls. So they had a bunch of like egg sandwich rolls. Some of them had jalapenos on them. So I took a couple of those and stuffed them in my bag for the second. It was helpful.
They had like 4 pots. They didn't have a whole bunch of crock pots, but I feel like half of them were pulled meats, which doesn't really bother me. But I did see they had shepherd's pie, but when I went to go eat it, it was like pretty cold. I think one of the guys said their generator died at some point or something. I still ate it because like shepherd's pie is like, or whatever it's actually called. Because I know shepherd's pie will have
cottage pie or shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Randy knows all about shepherds, so
yeah,
it's true.
I didn't see any beers. I saw people kind of walking around with those like bottle of wine looking things, but I thought like those were stuff that I didn't know what I thought, but I was looking for like a box of PBR somewhere. All I saw was Mountain Dew, so I grabbed fucking 2 Mountain Dews for round 2.
There wasn't one in the back of Brian's car?
I didn't bring beer. I didn't think I was going to have to. I drove, actually. It was my car this time.
Oh, isn't that part of your emergency kit? No?
Like in case of emergency crack this by PBR.
Like one of those things where you could fill up the tire and a 12-pack of PBR. Come on now.
I'm going to add it to my kit now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they had a big bowl of goulash or like a crock pot of goulash. I don't know if that's like a Maine thing or a Northeastern thing or where goulash comes from. It might not even been goulash, but that's what it looked like to me. And macaroni with meat in it. I mean, can't lose. Yeah. And they had pudding shots. They had 2 different kinds of pudding shots. One of them was definitely stronger than the other one, and I had a few of those.
Yeah, I think that's something that I'm going to start doing for our home matches. It's easy, gets the other team drunk.
Did you say pudding shots?
Yeah.
Not Jello shots, pudding.
Yep. No, pudding. They had one flavor was salted caramel or caramel, and that was the one that you couldn't taste the booze in, and the other one was Milky Way, like the candy bar, and that one you could taste it. You could even smell it.
Our opponents at Chainsbury did pudding shots as well. They had like a pumpkin one and an apple one with like brandy in it, and they had Nilla wafers to scoop them with. It was nice.
Oh shit, they had Nilla wafers? God damn. I was just using my tongue for the whole thing.
So Jaimen, you're down 2 going into half, which on the road, that's like you said before, that's pretty good. What are you thinking for round 2?
I'm thinking our doubles chemistry has been kind of clicking this year, and I felt like we had a really good chance at it. I felt like the doubles pairings that I had kind of settled on were super solid ones, and I think the main wild card that I was worried about was just the course. I think the course measured in like somewhere around 4,500 feet, which is really short for a course to be playing in Team Challenge. Like basically everything was birdieable. So I knew that we were going to need, somebody on every card that was super accurate, as many people on a card as who knew the course as we could. So I tried to kind of spread out the people who had played before, that kind of stuff, so I knew that we kind of needed as many advantages as we could get going into doubles. And so I tried to kind of play to that.
So how did your second round go?
My second round, it went pretty well. Me and Brian played doubles pretty well together. This is, I think, our third or fourth time as DisCaptains playing.
Second time this season already, right?
No, this is our first time this season.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we played twice last year. The second time when he canned a 120-foot throw-in to push the match into a playoff that we then won. I was like, all right, well, Brian, the good news is we won. The bad news is you're my partner for it. And so we kind of kept that rolling a little bit. It was a lot of back and forth, just like the first round. We'd go up. I think they went up one on us in the first 6 holes. We came back and ended up ahead by one. And then they took 2 on us in a row. It was a lot of one team birdieing 2 holes in a row while the other team parred. So there's a lot of lead changes by the time we got to the 16th hole, we took the lead back. So we were 1 up, 2 holes to go. 17th hole, we pushed. And then on the 18th hole, the other team absolutely parked it 2-foot drop in putt. And me and Brian, just not having played the course, threw it 60 feet long, both of us. Almost had a tough upshot just to take par, but we managed to take par. So that was hole 15. Then, started our playoff immediately, went to hole 16, both birdied that. 17, everybody parred that. And then on hole 18, the other team parked it. 18's 150-foot downhill shot. Brian threw his a little bit low, hit the only stump in the fairway. And then I threw mine a little bit wide. And rather than, taking a skip to the left, I threw an entropy, which is very overstable, low glide, specifically so that it would kind of come back left at the end. And it just kind of hit the hill at the wrong angle and bounced to 30 feet away. And we missed our 30-foot putt and we lost our playoff, which was very disappointing.
What about your round, Corey?
I played with Troy Vasari, which I don't know if I've ever really played dubs with Troy before, even local dubs after all these years, maybe once or twice. So it was a welcome change for me. Troy's cool. It's fun to play with. So we played against a couple guys named Nate and Dave, who we also vibed pretty well with them. I think Dave was a lefty, which was kind of weird. I played with a lefty both rounds, but Dave was also a lefty that forehands lefty when he has to, which is a true unicorn.
I met one, Josh Pelor, right? If I'm correct.
He doesn't switch to righty for forehands?
No, it's a right-handed throw.
Kind of similar to what Jaimen was saying. We lost the first hole, and then we kind of would match each other for a few holes, and then we would take one back, and then they would get one, and then we would get one. And then there was one hole that was probably 10 holes into the match, and the other guys just super screwed it up. They ended up 3-putting, which during dubs is wild, and we took 2 strokes on them in one hole. So all of a sudden we were up 2. And then, it kind of continued going back and forth a bit. And now we get to this hole 18 that Jaimen was talking about, 150 foot. You could basically jump putt it. And they were pretty much parked. And I kind of fucked up my shot and probably had a just inside the circle putt. And Troy had his probably, 20-ish feet. And I feel like we were putting pretty good throughout the round so far until we both lost focus and doinked that putt to lose the hole, which I think foreshadow kind of is the one that we kind of really screwed up on and kind of shot ourselves in the foot, because the last 3 holes, hole 1 is a little 140 foot barely uphill ace run, so both teams are going to birdie that. And then the second hole is kind of not impossible to get to the basket reliably, but they were probably 120 feet from the basket. Myself and Troy kind of had a chance to run it pretty safely, except for the sun that was perfectly in line with the basket looking uphill. So I guess it wasn't that safe. You could find yourself. We basically thought that if we hit that putt, that it was over. We were up 1 at that point, and we missed our putt.
Sounds like the Cowboys complaining about the sun in your eyes. But no, I'm sorry.
Well, bad design, Put that thing there. The other team tries to make their birdie attempt and end up putting it long past the basket. We try to make our birdie attempt, or our 2 attempt, and basically give it a safe run. But we thought that if we made that we were basically, the match was going to be won. Then come to find out these guys had to make a 35-foot comebacker after already kind of putting kind of wishy-washy. So we still had a chance to win the hole because they fucked it up. And this guy drains a monster putt to basically, push the hole. So now we're going to the last hole. We're still up 1. Hole 3 is kind of like a super tight, like dogleg right. Kind of hard to think about how you could actually get like a backhand to take the line. I mean, it's clear and defined. It's just, it has to be a super tight angle. So a lot of times it turns into like a cut roller or it comes up short. But this Dave guy being a lefty, it kind of set up pretty well for his game. So me and Troy are up 1 stroke. These other guys, actually, I think these other guys had to go first. They probably put it to like 40 feet, like in the trees. So pretty low percent chance that they hit that putt. Me and Troy don't get as close. We probably have like a 60-footer. Both try some safe runs. Don't hit our putt. These guys snake. I'm pretty sure they had a full flight of discs, bended around 2 trees, had like a right-hand turn, left-hand turn putt through these trees, and they fucking drain it to push a playoff, which, again, me and Troy, we both felt like if we had hit the birdie on hole 18, that's all we need to do given the final holes we had left. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with that. But this is kind of course that, like, you already know that a playoff, like just how we played the course already, a playoff isn't going to be 1 hole. It could go 5+ holes. So our playoff actually ended up going 4 holes, and it ended where we had like a 25-foot downhill putt, like between 2 trees, and not that the trees were in a way. They actually kind of framed up the shot, and we both duffed it while these guys were parked. So it's kind of a bummer way to finish a pretty good round that I feel like we put together, because we didn't have the hottest score. There was a lot of similar scores in the 45 range, but Troy literally did all the work. I did not help for shit. I'm pretty sure Troy made a joke that told Jaimen to like just give him someone that could putt well. Well, I didn't do that very well either, except for maybe 1 or 2 holes. So I felt kind of bad because I feel like Troy basically carried, and that kind of golf where it's like soft putter shots sets up really well for him and not for me. So I kind of felt disappointed in myself that I couldn't do better. But yeah, 45-45 in our match and 4-hole playoff, resulting in a loss.
So you and Troy, Jaimen, and Brian combined for 7 playoff holes, and your guys are down 0-4.
Yeah, not the best stat line.
And then I see Jason. It says Jason squared. I assume that's Lasasso and Gorsage.
Yeah.
They went to, it looks like, is that 1 playoff hole? I want to point this out. Last week, I mentioned for New York Team Challenge how many great whiteboards there were. These guys, I applaud the effort, but going blue and green, and then the way they tried to denote who won, not the best. Using green for the winner if it's you guys, blue for the winner if it's those guys, but they're just so close that it's kind of aggravating, I'll be honest with you. So I see 3 playoffs, 4 matches that are 1 stroke difference. This is a very close match.
Yeah, no, very close. I know that they were sweating. The way that it happened, like this is something that the order in which the matches come in doesn't matter in the end, but while it's happening, it adds a lot of like drama to what's going on. So I wasn't there for this because I was still finishing my match, but apparently for a while, the first matches coming in were all DisCaptain's wins. So everybody back at the spot, the Devils were not feeling it. It was looking pretty dire for them. And then, obviously the tide turned. They got all the matches that they needed. But yeah, from what I understand, they were not happy about it for a little bit, which was, for a team like this is like the original kind of, not super team because they're not a super team, but they're, just like this really strong team that started all the way back at the beginning of the play-in pool. They lost their first match ever, and then they won every other match until they got into B. So they had a streak going that was years and years and years. So to take a team with that kind of history that close at their own home, especially when we've never been there before, I think that was a statement in itself. Definitely not the one we were trying to make. It would have been a lot cooler just to hand them their first home loss that I'm aware of. We didn't get the win, but we definitely fought a really good battle and I'm sure, put a couple other teams on alert. We mean business.
Absolutely. I mean, especially you got Matt and Parker. So I assume that's Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Yep.
Won their match.
Yeah, they flew in from Colorado.
Looks like they ended up winning 16-8 in doubles for a win of 29-19.
Yeah, that was one that would have been great to have. We really did almost have it. I mean, I think spirits were up pretty high after singles. Not that they weren't still high after the round, but that would have been a great one to come home with, especially after drive. I mean, the other team was super appreciative of the numbers that we brought out, which I would assume Jaimen agrees. Like, it's cool to see all of us go out there as well. not just the home team appreciative of it, but it's kind of cool to see that many of us kind of rally together, try to get a win.
So what's your record at now?
We're 1-1. The way that the standings are right now, we're fourth because it boils down to points percentage, but 2 matches and not too much.
Yeah. What's your next match?
Our next match, we are playing Queen City, December 7th at J Park.
That is a day that will live in infamy. Corey, nothing?
What was the date again?
December 7th?
Remember the 7th of December?
No,
So
that's
close.
the 5th of November. December
Very
7th is Pearl Harbor, a day
yeah.
that will live in infamy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also happens to be my birthday.
Ooh,
Wait, really?
happy birthday.
Yeah, December 7th.
Do you not play New England Team Challenge?
I do not.
Why not?
I just kind of got into Team Challenge just this year with New York, so I'd love to, but, well, I don't know, actually.
Well, I saw your
Give it a
rating and I was like, okay, I figured, it's approaching that 9 number.
Yeah, it definitely could be fun. I probably would like to, but it would, kind of the 2 teams, playing almost every other weekend at least throughout the winter.
Yeah,
It's kind
it's
of
a lot.
So,
It's
yeah,
a
we
lot.
travel for the holidays too and stuff.
Well, I mean, you're going out to Germany and Scotland and
Yeah, we
Japan,
go
so
everywhere
yeah,
all the
when
time.
when you're going to be able to play? But you guys have kids?
No.
Okay. No, I'm just just prying, I guess. But
You're good. You're good.
actually, I'm trying to bide time so Alex can post the results for this other match that we want to go over.
Oh, I have it. I just didn't post it yet because I wasn't sure if we were done yet.
I'm just busting your chops, Alex. We're running a little bit behind, but I did want to do it last because I was hoping that Randy would make it in time to talk about it. So our last match is Stonykillers Chainsbury. That was at Chainsbury, right?
Correct.
And where's that?
Amesbury, Massachusetts. I want to say it was about 3-hour trip for us. It's way out east. Randy can tell you more about locations in Massachusetts than I can.
Well, I was going to ask Randy, is this anywhere near where you
Nope.
live?
It is like the complete opposite end of 495, which is crescent shaped, leading from Cape Cod and then to New Hampshire, like going around Boston.
So it's like 15 minutes from where you
No,
grew up?
it was an hour and a half.
That was a Massachusetts being small
Yeah,
joke.
no.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
But cutting through Boston at 6 a.m. was an hour and a half, and then coming home taking 495 was 2 hours. So like significantly different with traffic, but not super far, like mileage wise.
So who wants to start?
I guess I'll start off with things. So a little bit of background. We have been to Chainsbury before. Chainsbury's been in the same pool as us for a couple of years now. The last time we went there was not last year, but the year before. So 2022. I'm pretty sure it was a November match as well. So yeah, pretty early in the season. But we went there and were just absolutely, maybe not completely trounced, but it wasn't close. They beat us pretty handily. So, we're coming back in here and everybody's talking about what happened the last time with someone was hit with a disc, because this is a super tight course. There's a lot of fairways that are basically on top of each other. So everybody's kind of got that in their head, and also the results from last year in their head. So nobody's, at least from what I could gather, nobody at Stonykillers was super excited to be there, especially, and then also you've got the 3-hour trip on top of that. But we were able to roll pretty deep. We ended up with 20 guys and 3 women, which is a lot for a travel squad. At least on my end, I was going into it feeling like, it's an away match. We're expected to lose these. It's not a course that I particularly enjoy, but it's playing disc golf and it's a beautiful day for November. I want to say it was like 60s, a little bit windy, but nothing too crazy. I was able to get everybody together as I was practicing, start checking off names, make sure we got everybody. And we did relatively quickly. I didn't have to go tracking anybody down, which is awesome. Got into matchups pretty quickly. The other captains were pretty good about, getting scheduling down. And we were all, sort of conscious about, sundown and everything.
So this is the point where I realized that John Hafner, JP, is on your team, and I didn't have him come on tonight, but looking at the time, I'm glad I didn't. But how was your first round there, Alex?
First round was feeling good. My opponent got himself into a hole really quickly. It was definitely one of those situations where, I was able to take a couple of shots just off of, him missing a 25, 30 foot putt, which you never expect those, but you're happy to have them when they come. Easily could have gone the other way, on a different day. It wouldn't have been any confusion on like if I had lost that match, but yeah, I was able to go up by 3 pretty early and just hung on to that lead pretty much the entire round. Played with Sam Richter, who was much tighter with his opponent. A couple of rough missed putts towards the end resulted in him losing that one. But, as we were coming in, started trickling in, started seeing the results, we couldn't complain too much because we were hanging tight with him right up until the end. It ended up with us having a 1-point lead going into the lunch break.
That's kind of what you hope for, right? I mean, Jaimen pointed out earlier, 1.5 to a half is better. But, worst case scenario, 1-1.
Yeah, that's all you can really expect from any given card.
I don't know if you mentioned, but you won your round 3 and 2.
Yep, hung on to that 3-stroke lead the whole way.
What about you, Randy? What about your round 1? Oh, Max H played Fonzie. I'm sorry, Randy. How'd you do?
All right, so round 1, I played this guy named Frankie, and we started in the woods. So like the majority of the course is wooded, and there's like 4 wide open holes, maybe 5. So we start in the woods, and I throw like an okay tee shot, and so does he, and I lay up, and he just drains like a 40-foot pure death putt. Like if he had missed this thing, gone. And I'm like, oh, cool, I'm in danger. Like, But I think this course like played to my game pretty well. It kind of reminded me of Central Park. Like a lot of the tee shots in the woods were that kind of vibe. Ground play was important. The trees weren't too tight, that type of stuff. So I just slowly chip away at him throughout my round. I managed like a 2 to 3 point lead like the whole time. And then we get out of the woods for our last like 4 holes, and I just completely forget how to putt in the wind. And he just takes every hole on me and beats me 2-1 for like that last stretch of 4 holes where like I had a tee shot get taken by the wind and go OB, like something I didn't expect. I had a 15-foot putt kind of just like go over the top, like just, the things you forget can happen when you have a 3-point lead, and all of a sudden you just have no lead. But I kind of ended that round still feeling good. I was pretty well under par, even with some goofs right near the end. It stunk to lose that, and I definitely came back after that thinking like, if we lose today by 1, it is just my fault. That kind of feeling of like I had that match and just, couldn't finish it out strong. I played with Chad, which was a good time, and he handled his opponent really well. Chad putts really well in the wind, so that was really cool to watch. But yeah, it was good. It was a good time. I think everybody there had a great vibe. I liked playing against that team.
I did want to point out that Max beat Fonzie 7-6, but mind you, Fonzie's like 80 years old at this point.
For anyone following along at home, that's Andrew Fonseca.
Oh, is it?
Not the Fonz.
What about their spread?
Spread was feeling good. Had a ton of really good crock pots and warm things, and that's always a big metric for me is there significant amount of hot food. Somebody was making quesadillas, like Randy said earlier. They had pudding shots. For breakfast, they were making breakfast sandwiches, always a bonus. The thing that really stuck out to me was they had a cinnamon roll casserole type of thing, like a monkey bread, hunks of cinnamon roll and like maple syrup and everything. Yeah, I would have just kept eating that the entire time. It was very good.
How could you not?
Right? I literally only didn't do it because I was one of the earlier ones to come in, and I knew if I just ate all of it, I would have to face the wrath of everyone else who came in after me.
So you're up 1 point going into round 2. What's the thought process for teams in round 2? My thinking is whatever your baseline thing, you're not going to go too fancy, right?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. We're starting to settle into partners a little bit. There were a couple of new people that we needed to line up.
Like Randy and Tyler Calzada?
Yeah, it's an uncommon pairing, you never see it. But a couple of new guys in a couple of different positions. I didn't play with Sam. I want to go back to playing with Sam. But Joe and I played really well together, and I always love playing with Joe.
What Joe?
This is Joe Gelinas.
Okay.
He's a left-handed person. He throws lefty, forehands lefty.
Oh, another unicorn.
Yeah, right?
Is it still a unicorn if it's happened 2 matches in a row, Corey?
Well, in order to make more unicorns, you need to have at least 2 unicorns. So 2 is possible, but 3, huh?
Okay. That's fair.
Always fun playing with Joe as a left-handed person. This course particularly had a good chunk of right turning shots. So it's always good to have somebody with that left-hand backhand shot to get things there. We played against Jake and Tim. I don't remember exactly how they did in round 1, but super nice guys, fun to talk to, fun to play with. It was neck and neck right up until the very end. And on our second to last hole, Randy was talking about a hole that has just the most death putt of any death putt that you've ever seen. And that's what our second to last hole was. We put ourselves at probably about 20, 25 feet with the death putt. But, it's doubles. We're thinking we can make it. They had hit some trees off their drives, and their upshots, like one was super out of the way and one went over the cliff. We ended up making the birdie, so we had a 2-stroke lead going into the last hole, which felt like a little bit of an anticlimax after, being pretty much tied the entire time going up into that. But we were then able to birdie the last one to really, put things away there.
So you guys won by 3 strokes?
Yep. Almost put up the hot round.
All right, Randy, you played with the stranger Tyler Calzada. How'd that go?
It was really weird. We had to talk the whole time to figure out when to throw and stuff.
Like who's the bomber, who's the putter kind of thing?
It was super
Oh,
awkward. But pretty early in the round, after 2 holes, we realized we'd gotten a mismatch in matchmaking. Our opponents were super fun, but they just did not throw the disc the same way we did. So we kind of just had a fun round and talked a lot. My opponent, I think it was Andrew, who we knew all the same people from playing Ultimate back in the day, but just had never crossed paths. So we were just sharing stories the whole time about tournaments we had definitely been at the same time and people we'd played with and stuff. So it was a really good time.
That wasn't Fonzie, was it?
Oh, maybe it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Ah, I see Andrew F. So I thought maybe that's the Fonz. Was he wearing a leather jacket and shorts?
No. Both of my opponents in that second round were kind of dressed like they didn't play sports, which is you have a moment of are they about to just pop off and be the most unsuspecting people ever?
That guy with sandals and 2 discs who smokes everybody at Dubs.
Wearing jeans with no belt.
Dude, it was sweatpants and a zip up hoodie unzipped that's letting all the wind blow in. It's just they didn't dress to go outside for the day, but they're still out here. But anyways, I definitely used that round to redeem myself on the holes I'd messed up out in the wind, which was great. So figured out a few disc changes. Definitely didn't nail the same birdies I got in the first round, but that was okay. I felt like I got redemption from the first round, kind of really figured out the course. So I was really happy with my tee shots basically throughout the day, combining those 2 rounds. But I think we ended up beating them by 9 strokes. It was a good time. We almost got the hot score, but we also never really went double death putt. Somebody was always kind of half running to not blow it, that kind of thing. So it was a good time.
It's still the second hottest round.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We had a great time, but yeah, at no point were we we have to make this. We kind of just vibed and had a good time.
But it's still pretty impressive to put up the second hottest score without that pressure. It kind of makes you a little more lackadaisical.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
So you guys had a singles match. How did that happen?
So because we were rolling 20 into 3, we ended up with 23 people, and you can't split 23 into even number of doubles pairings. I mentioned to the other captains at lunch, and we were just what are you feeling for the odd number? And they're just thinking singles. There's probably a strategically correct decision when it comes to that, because we're only up 1. The singles match matters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if it had been triples, it might have been different.
Was that ever a consideration?
It was a vague consideration, but the way the rules are written, it would need to have been discussed by both captains prior to matchups and get everything set there. And with them feeling like singles, we didn't really have any strong preference on that, so we just stuck with singles.
And you had Alden Slack. Did you save him for that?
It was definitely consideration. Alden grew up around there.
Oh, okay.
And very much knew the course well. So we definitely had him in mind as this is a person who is going to be very strong at this course. So if we want to make sure we get that singles match, then that's a good one to go with.
Looks like it was a wise decision because that made it a tie.
Yeah. As we were, all kind of milling around and eating what's left of the spread and seeing all the scores come in, it started to look like we were going to split things. It eventually got to the point where Chad's match was the last one out. And you get those like rumors of like, oh, he's up by, however many strokes or whatever. So we figured we needed to start thinking about, if it's a playoff, we need to figure out who we're going to send out there. For people who don't know how this works, if you end up straight up tied at the end of doubles, each team picks any two players. Could be a doubles pairing, could be, just your top two players that you want to send out there, could be whatever you want. Those two players play against the other two players from the other team, and you do sudden death playoff doubles. So pretty high stakes. Anyone who's going into that is going to have a ton of pressure on them.
What hole do you start on? The only reason I ask is because it looks like nobody started on hole 1.
As we started going out there, the Chainsbury guys were like, we start playoffs on hole 5. I think traditionally you're supposed to start on 1, but because of daylight and because of, spectators and everything, hole 5 just works out to be a pretty good hole for people to start out on.
So who did you guys pick?
So there was some discussion, like we were thinking, do we want to go with whoever had the hot round? Do we want to go with a classic doubles pairing? And at the time, Chad and Nick weren't in, so it really worked out to be whoever had the hot round was also a classic doubles pairing for Stonykillers. And I don't know if you guys have done it before, but I want to say Randy and Tyler have been sort of our go-to for playoffs. Is that right, Randy?
I don't think I've ever done it. I've been told to be ready, and then it seems to never happen. I don't think I've ever done one for the Stonykillers. I have done it in New York, but yeah, never for Stonykillers. But me and him did not really have to talk at all playing together. And I think that's important in the playoff. We never second guessed each other. We just played kind of like it was our regular round. So I think that was a good choice. In the moment, before the choice was made, I had, probably the worst, imposter syndrome where you're just they shouldn't pick me. I didn't have the hot round. I didn't putt great today, but I was really feeling the tee shots. That course was, I don't know, whatever it was, it fit my game.
I know I joked earlier about, it's not very far from you or whatever, but had you ever played that course?
Only 2 years ago when we had our other match. And I did like it that time as well. I liked the tee shots. I had a good day of getting off the tee. So, when it was hey, you might be doing a playoff, I was pretty confident. And whoever my partner was, I was I will get them somewhere close. And
you guys started on hole 5. What were your thoughts on hole 5?
That course is confusing because they have a winter layout. And someone said hole 5. And I looked in that general direction. And I thought it was going to be this forehand shot that I had just nailed earlier in the day. So I was sweet, we're going to crush this. And we walk over and it's not at all. Hole 5 is this very long, fake tunnel shot. I would guess it's 350, maybe. It's one of the longer wooded holes on the course.
A little bit downhill too, yeah.
Yeah, a touchdown hill, and it's just the trees are perfectly laid out to be awkward. So you can have good tee shots, but then they fade away into wooded parts. There's no underbrush on this course, but it's there's more mature trees. So it was one of those tee shots where you can have a good looking tee shot and then you just end up with a tree or two in your way kind of thing.
Who did you guys play against?
It was Ryan and...
Yeah, Ryan Karp and Jason. I don't know.
Not the Fonz.
Yeah, not the Fonz.
Not the Fonz, no.
Yeah, I'm blanking on Jason's name as well.
I'm trying to think of who went first.
The other captain had been flip for choice. And I called heads. It was heads. So we had choice.
Did you flip a coin or a disc?
A disc. And you guys, I believe, chose to go first.
Yeah, that sounds right. So this hole that we started on, it had a headwind that all day seemed to not actually turn discs over. So I changed up the disc I'd thrown all day because all day I had been not close. And so I went down to a 7-speed, a little stable, and threw my shot and faded out a little bit past the basket, maybe 30 to 35, something like that.
Yeah, I would have put you outside the circle, but pinned high.
Yeah, definitely a little outside the circle. Tyler's was a little bit more left. It seemed like the wind was actually moving the discs around a lot. And then the other guys threw, and they were out at 80. So we were feeling good, but the wind was real. And, they threw their putts kind of close, and me and Tyler just barely missed our, outside circle putt in the wind. But both putts looked good. I was feeling good. That was not a gimme by any means. but it was nice to at least have the opportunity to score on that one. Mm-hmm. Should I just run through these holes real quick?
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of time, but
however you want to do it.
Yeah. So next hole was a short but tight like hyzer shot. Once again, it was like not great tee shots for the people chosen to be the champions for the team. My tee shot looked like it was gonna be perfect, and then it just like kissed a tree and went off into Nowheresville. So we were left with like a 60-footer, and they were left with a very obstructed like 30-footer, and no one made it. Move on to the next hole.
So during this, after we get done with hole 5 and we go to the second playoff hole, we find that there's casuals on the course.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if nobody talked to them or what, but there's just like several dozen people who are watching this specific hole, and they're like just kind of, being casuals and, throwing discs, being casual about it. So like in between this hole and then the next hole, we had like at least a 3 or 4 minute wait where we were just waiting for the casuals to get off the hole so we could keep going with the playoff.
I totally forgot about the casuals, and yeah, they were kind of icing us. It was like a couple minute wait on every tee pad, which was hilarious in hindsight. But we get to our third hole, which is a completely blind, gotta like absolutely smash like a fairway driver off the tee through like a small gap, and then it kind of opens up. Can't see the basket. Tyler throws a good shot, so I'm allowed to just like unload. So I take a Firebird and I throw it nice and flat and hard through this gap, and we get claps from in the distance, and I'm just like ecstatic. The other guys throw, there's no claps. One of them even said that. He's like, well, we didn't get claps. And like and we walk down there, and they have like an obstructed 40-footer, and we have like a 20-footer maybe, and they cash their 40-footer.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was kind of counting it as we're walking down there. I'm like, we got this. And then they cash their like 40-footer. Tyler just absolutely no thought in the world hits the 20-footer, which for me is like a mile away in my head. So I'm very happy to have Tyler there for all the quote, easy putts. So there's like one par 4 on the course, and it's very difficult, honestly. Like it's like a winter hole because they can't use like one of the open fields. So that hole just, it turns right the whole way. There's tons of trees in the way. It's not that great a hole. We push it with a par.
You guys both got 3s.
We got 3s, which is like a fake birdie because it's like, it really shouldn't be a par 4 because it's not that long, but whatever. We move on to what I would call maybe the easiest hole in the course, which is just this like 180-foot downhill hyzer shot with like a building behind it. So there's like a backboard. It is sloped in front of it, but it should be the easiest hole. Both teams should birdie it and go on with their day. And instead, it's a little windy, and I go first, and I put it like 20 feet away, but the corner of the building is like completely obscuring the shot because I've like slid like just past the corner. And then Tyler throws his OB, but it didn't matter at least. And then the other guys, one hits a tree off the tee, and the other guy puts it even further behind mine with the building in the way. At that point, I don't think anyone thought any of us should have been playing as the representatives for our teams. It was like the easiest hole in the world. And the other team lays up, and Tyler runs it, which turns into a layup because he like nicks the corner of the building. And I try to just like chuck a little forehand in around the corner where I can only see like 2 chain links. So that didn't work. And then we go on to hole 10, which we're now in the wide open. And this hole's like slightly downhill, just short of 300-foot hyzer, where the basket is lined up with some big trees. So you're kind of throwing out into like an open field and having it hyzer back in where the basket's like lined in with the trees. So they go first. They both throw good hyzers. It's kind of windy, and they probably have like a 15, 20-footer at most. And then Tyler goes, and he does almost the same exact thing as one of their guys, just hyzers in, hits the ground, nice short putt, probably 15 feet. At this point, I have the green light to try and ace run it. The sun is going down. This hole is particularly weird with the wind and the hyzer. I think both of my shots during the day, I hung them out wide, and they never came like all the way back to the basket. I was left with like a circle's edge putt. So I went Firebird on this hole, even though it's definitely short enough. Like Tyler threw like an MD5, and I cut it in early on the hyzer. I immediately think it's going to be a little bit too early, and it just smashes the chains and sticks for the ace, and the playoff's over.
Yeah, Ty? Hell yeah, dude. Let's go, Randall.
That's cold.
Let's go, Rand.
Do it.
Oh! Oh my god! That was insane!
It was absolutely
How many
nuts.
holes is this now?
This was the 6th hole to play off.
That's like one short of what Corey and Jaimen combined for in theirs.
Yeah, it should have been done earlier, and it was like a pillow fight of like not beating each other earlier.
Have you ever thrown an ace in Team Challenge before?
Nope, I've never had an ace in Team Challenge. This one does not count for the ace pot, so
Oh, because it's
outside of regulation. Yeah.
that's fair. Has anybody here had an ace in Team Challenge?
Me and James aced the same hole.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it on our podcast. Never mind. The same match, right?
Same round, I think. Wait, no, you got it first round, right, Corey?
Yeah, I did it on the short basket. You did it in the long
Say
basket. Well, the short basket position was harder, actually, but
Oh, yeah. How many points do you get for that? Is that just 1 point?
I don't know. I don't know if it counts as points.
Yeah, right. It's just a win, but equal for point diff.
If we were just looking at point differential, I think we had a tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who you guys got next?
Who do we have next? We got somebody in December. We're looking at the 7th or the 8th at the moment. Stonykillers is at Devon's, or at least that's the preliminary talks. I don't know if that's been locked in yet.
Okay. And what's your guys' record right now?
We are now 2-0 with a decisive home win and a really strong finish away. So feeling really good about our prospects.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats to Randy for hitting the ace in such a high pressure situation.
were you in the ace pot?
It doesn't matter, but yes, it was.
Right.
It's outside of parameters.
Damn, you idiot. You should have aced it during the actual regulation.
I know.
I do want to say, because it might get forgotten, but Tyler Calzada parking that shot first to give the green light is always an important factor.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So 1-1 for DisCaptains, 2-0 for Stonykillers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this weekend, not to change topics, but we got Minekill at Chatham. Is that happening this weekend?
Yes.
That's at
It
Chatham
is.
Hill? Or no, is that a neutral match?
That's an unscheduled match, but it is at Stoneykill. It goes down as a home match.
Okay.
It just isn't.
It isn't officially scheduled.
Yeah.
And J Park, Saratoga, Corey, is that happening?
It is. Last I knew. Yep, I'm going to
Is it at Saratoga?
It is at J Park.
Oh, okay. So real quick, Minekill at Chatham Hill. So who's winning that matchup, Jaimen?
Mine kills taking it.
Mhm.
All right. Corey, Minekill at Chatham.
Yeah, that's going to be mine kill.
Alex.
I'm confident that we're going to take this one. It's going to be close, but considering as a New York Team Challenge team, we have lost by a grand total of 3.5 points between 2 matches, I feel like we're due to get one. So I feel like we're going to get this one.
All right. Jacob, who you got?
It's a tough call. I feel like 2 really strong teams. Definitely going to be close. I feel like I'll probably just go with the home team. Go Chatham.
Chatham.
But,
All right.
It'll be close here.
And Randy.
All right, so I'm obviously going to say Minekill, but for a different reason is that I know the roster of Chatham extremely well, which I honestly can't say about the other teams. Like I've known the other teams, but like this is one where I know the players and how they play at Chatham.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to doing matchmaking and not thinking about like, who is that person? Like what course do they play? Or like, where do they live? I think this one's going to be nice mentally for matchmaking.
All right. Randy, what about Saratoga at J Park?
I think I have to go home field advantage for J Park.
All right. Jacob, what do you got?
It's weird because I know so many of the players for Saratoga, but I don't know as many J Park players. But I'd have to imagine J Park defends at home, so
All right.
J Park.
Alex?
I gotta go J Park at home. It's Saratoga, not CPS, right?
Yeah.
Saratoga, yep.
Yeah, I gotta go with J Park for this one.
Corey?
Yeah, I'm going J Park, and without spoiling it, I'm going to have the spread item of all spread items. Guaranteed.
All right. Jaimen, who you got?
I'm going with J Park.
Complete chalk on J Park over Saratoga. Randy, anything about putting league?
Yeah, we had another slight increase, record high of 86 players. I tried to make it a lot harder this week, and people still shot mid-20s. So,
And Evan hit an ace, right?
and Evan hit an ace on a marksman basket. Kate Clay also hit it. I think it got hit 4 times, even though I tried to make it way harder by making it a marksman basket. And I think we got the same number of hits. So, gonna have to make it harder
Just
again.
take the whole top
Don't
off.
know how I'm gonna do it. Yeah, no chains. It's just a bucket on
Just
the
a
ground.
bucket. I love it.
All right. Quiz or no quiz?
I can stick around, but
I'm
I'm
good.
not disappointed if we don't.
Corey?
Whatever Jacob and Jaimen say.
Well, Jacob, actually, I should really ask Jacob first. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Oh, I don't want to ruin Jacob's night.
I'm fine.
Well, Jacob's going to get to pick his team. So if everybody's in, we'll do the old 3-2 matchup. That's all good. Now, it is episode 250. So if we go a little long, I'm not too upset.
I'm in.
Jaimen, you're good?
Yeah, I think in honor of it being episode 250, this podcast should be 2.5 times as long as the regular.
That's fair. All right. We're going till midnight, baby. No, Jacob, do you want to be on a team of 2 or a team of 3?
I'll go 3.
All right. That means Corey, as the undefeated New York Team Challenge picker, you got to be on a team of 2. Who is your partner?
I think in honor of Randy.
In honor of Randy.
I think Randy's reward for the throw-in is being partnered with me for trivia.
All right. So
I feel so
Alex
honored.
and the J-Men, because I always try to fit J-Men for Jaimen.
I was hoping we did a 3-person team last week with JP on, because we were going to be, I was thinking John, Jacob, and then Jaimen could be Jingleheimer.
I like it. I like it.
But I like it, yeah.
We are running late, but I got 3 rounds. One round it's a completely fun round, but you don't know which one it is. Randy, you get to pick first, category 1, 2, or 3.
Randy, were we partners last time?
No, I was partners with
Okay.
Jacob.
You were partners with Evan, who you forgot about.
Oh, yeah.
Thought it was JP for like half of it.
Yeah, well, in honor of Randy's ace, we'll go with number 1.
Ooh,
All right,
nice.
question 1, category 1. Conrad Veidt's face on the movie poster for The Man Who Laughs has been called an inspiration for what comic book character? Conrad Veidt's face on the movie poster for The Man Who Laughs has been called an inspiration for what comic book character?
I think it's Joker.
Okay, yeah.
I that's all I can think of. You sound like you really know the
Nah, I
answer.
didn't even think those first things that he was saying was even words or at least a sentence.
Conrad Veidt's, Veidts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Joker.
Joker's all I got.
Is the Joker a disc?
Yeah.
I know the Jokery is a disc, which is Swedish, and I don't know if it means the same thing, but I also don't think that counts. I have no
I'm
idea.
leaning yes.
Let's go yes.
Are you saying yes, assuming the Joker E counts?
No.
No. I'm assuming that is a different
Okay,
word.
you guys still agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, no.
Oh, fuck. We had a chance.
we shouldn't
He
have
gave us a
agreed.
chance, Randy.
I know. He gave us an out. He was like, oh, those idiots think Joker.
No, it's fair.
Shit.
I didn't bother to look up what the word jokery was in Swedish. It's probably Joker, but
No, we didn't take it. It's fine.
Alex and the J-Men. What category? 1, 2, or 3?
No preference. What you guys
There's
got?
3 of us?
Sure.
Oh, I like it.
All right. Question 1, category 3. What word can be used to describe an uncivilized person, particularly one from outside the Roman Empire or possibly from ancient Samaria, as created by Robert E. Howard? What word can be used to describe an uncivilized person, particularly one from outside the Roman Empire or possibly from ancient Samaria, as created by Robert E. Howard?
My first thought's barbarian.
Barbarian's my thought too. I don't actually have a connection to this, but created by Robert E. Howard, or whatever that name was, makes me think they're referring to Conan the Barbarian, but I don't know if that's a thing.
I just feel like the term barbarian comes from.
It very much sounds right. Yeah, I'm with you on Barbarian, unless you got any strong thoughts there, Jacob?
That sounds good to me. The only thing that popped in my mind was plebeian or plebe, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think barbarian's much better. Definitely a stronger disc name.
You guys good with that?
I think so.
Is the Barbarian a disc?
I think it is.
My instinct was yes.
Sounds like it
Yeah,
is.
sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Everybody agree? Viking Discs, October 8th, 2017. And yes, Robert E. Howard created Conan the Barbarian.
Nice.
Randy, 1, 2, or 3?
Should we try out 2?
In honor of Randy's ace, I think Randy should get to choose which the next category is.
What do you got, Randy?
So let's try out category 2.
Question 1, category 2. On the moon, Schroeder's what is more than 100 miles long, like the fertile Shenandoah on Earth? On the moon, Schroeder's what is more than 100 miles long, like the fertile Shenandoah on Earth?
Is it a
That'd be
valley?
Valley.
Ooh, I knew
Yeah,
that one.
nice.
Kind of.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Is the valley a disc?
I feel like a disc name like the mountain or the crater sounds way cooler than the valley.
Yeah, I don't like it, honestly. It's a good word, but I don't know if it It's a good disc.
I'm kind of leaning no.
Let's go no, and then if we're wrong, we'll just
Accept it.
have no confidence for the next 10 questions.
Yeah. No.
You guys say no?
We're going no, right?
Yeah, no.
All right, no.
Vibram Disc Golf, April 20th, 2015. Alex and the J-Men, 1, 2, or 3. One question from each category has been used.
I have no
Same.
preference.
Yeah, there's no way of telling category off 1.
Yeah.
Let's do 3 again.
Going with 3?
Yeah. Works for me.
Question 2, category 3. Among the many nicknames for the comic book character Deadpool, he is known as the what with a mouth? Among the many nicknames for the comic book character Deadpool, he is known as the what with a mouth?
He's the Merc with a
Nice.
mouth.
I am not thinking. So is it Merc or is it?
MERC. Like the nickname is Merc with a
Okay.
mouth, but mercenary is what Merc is meaning.
Sounds
Okay,
good to
so
me.
hope he doesn't ask us to elaborate.
You guys go with Merc?
Yeah.
Is the Merc a disc?
It's the Merc a disc. It's not even the mercenary, huh?
Is the Merc a disc?
Deadpool Discs 2024.
That's such a weirdly specific thing. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm thinking, yeah. But
Yeah, it could also have nothing to do with be completely unrelated. It could be some like Swedish word.
True. I'm not upset with going with yes on this one.
Yeah, I'd
I'm-
vote yes.
I don't have a strong opinion on
Definitely a disc.
You guys agree?
Go with yes.
DKG Disc Sports, September 3rd, 2010.
Wow, oldie.
And I've already used Mercenary, so.
Ah, well, there you go.
All right, 4-2 after 2 rounds. Randy, what do you got? Category 1, 2, or 3?
We haven't tried 3 yet,
Yeah, we can.
but I wouldn't be against going back to 1. Go through it again.
You're a Marvel guy, right?
Oh, God, you're right.
Oh, wait, but Joker's not even. It's DC. Oh, gosh.
I'm not a comic book guy.
All right.
So that's a you.
Like, it might, maybe it's not.
Let's find out. Let's fuck around and
Maybe
find
it's
out real
playing
quick.
cards. Yeah, let's go to category 1.
Question 2, Category 1. What term is commonly used to describe a person who regularly inhales tobacco or other substances through a cigarette, cigar, or pipe? What term is commonly used to describe a person who regularly inhales tobacco or other substances through a cigarette, a cigar, or a pipe?
Smoker.
It's just smoker? Yeah.
You guys go with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the smoker a disc?
I got no.
I don't like it at all. Should we just go no?
I want to say no.
Yes, let's go no.
There's the chain smoker.
That's different. You can
That's
be a
not the
smoker, not a
same.
chain smoker. Chain smoker takes a special kind of lung.
Jaimen, I believe that you are the most honest person in this chat other than myself.
Nice.
Do you give them credit for saying no, or does the chain smoker count?
Oh, see, that's tricky. There's a lot of negatives in this. I would say the smoker is, especially in this context with which they are thinking about the word smoke, the chain smoker is.
There you go. All right. So full credit to Randy.
And let it be known that these are not pity points. These are logical.
No, they're not. He gave a well-argued response.
That's how I would have argued it the same way if it was my own.
It is tied, but Alex and the J-Men are one question to the better. And what category would you guys like? 1, 2, or 3?
I'm pretty confident I know what the category is for
Yeah, I was
number
going to
one.
say, I kind of want to jump over to that one.
No, you don't.
Happy with that.
You guys want to go category 1?
Sure.
All right. Question 3, category 1 for Alex and the J-Men. What word can be defined as a person or machine that gathers or collects something, or a person who plays a plucked instrument, especially a guitar, banjo, or mandolin? What word can be defined as a person or machine that gathers or collects something, or a person who plays a plucked instrument, especially a guitar, banjo, or mandolin?
Sounds like a picker to me.
Yeah.
You guys all agree?
Yeah. I think it's got to
Is the picker a disc?
I
It's
don't
gotta
know.
be
It doesn't
I
feel
don't
like a
like
disc.
it.
Yeah, it's a terrible disc.
Yeah. Let's say no.
So no?
Sounds good to me.
You are correct. All right, Randy, what do you got?
Should we run down 1?
Did you happen to hear the Morse code I was playing across the screen?
I think I'm on the same page as you.
I'm going to be honest. The last answer to me is for a loop, kind of. But yeah, let's just keep going. This must be the fun round that he was talking about. So
I think this is the fun
yeah,
one.
yeah, let's keep going.
All right, question 4, category 1. What word, which comes from Middle English, is used to describe someone who smiles broadly, often with bared teeth, to express a strong emotion like amusement, embarrassment, or glee? What word, which comes from Middle English, is used to describe someone who smiles broadly, often with bared teeth, to express a strong emotion like amusement, embarrassment, or glee?
Grinner?
Does it seem like that fits the bill?
I am not sure about the category now. I thought I was. Other than it, obviously they all rhyme, but I thought there was a deeper layer to this category.
I don't hate Grinner. I do like Grinner based on all those words that Pat was saying about like Middle Earth and Mordor teeth or something.
I'm glad I was muted for that because I almost.
Yeah, I mean, sure, Grinner. As long as you like it.
That's all I got.
Yeah, sure, Grinner.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the Grinner a disc?
No.
Okay. No.
Because of course it's not.
You are correct.
Let's go.
It is tied, but Alex and the J-Men still question to their benefit. What category would you guys like? 1, 2, or 3?
We got to run it down, right?
Yeah, before they figure out what it is.
Yeah, that's good with me.
Yeah.
Is this the last one? No.
There's
No,
two
there's
more
two
in
more.
this category.
All right, so yeah, we'll take one of them.
All right. Question 5, category 1. Marguerite Dumas's Lamont about an affair in Indochina translates as what romantic person in English? Marguerite Dumas's Lamont about an affair in Indochina translates as what romantic person in English?
Gotta be lover, right?
It's the only one that I can think of,
I
yeah.
think so.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Is the lover a disc?
This is one that feels like it could be.
Could be. It's also just, it's still kind of bad, but
Yeah, I don't
it's a
like
tough
it.
Call.
But of the ones we've seen so far, this is pretty high on the list that I think it could be. but I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be. I don't think it is, though.
Okay.
I'd lean more
I'm
towards
definitely
no.
happy with going no, if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, I'd lean towards no, sure.
Sure.
You guys agree?
Going with no.
You are correct. Though the love is a disc that we've used before, but lover is not. All right. Corey and Randy, what category would you like?
Number 1.
All right. Number 1.
All right. Final question, category 1. Jessica Biel returned to television in 2017 in what USA TV series starring Bill Pullman, who stars as a police detective who investigates crimes committed by unlikely culprits? Jessica Biel returned to television in 2017 in what USA TV series starring Bill Pullman, who stars as a police detective who investigates crimes committed by unlikely culprits?
Do you know this one, Corey?
You sure as hell sound like you do.
I just want to take this chance to say, Kat watched this show on Netflix, like after it had already been out for a while. And she started on like season 4 and had no idea she was starting on the wrong season and didn't realize until she'd completely finished it. And then she went back and started with season 1. And it actually seemed like a pretty sweet way to watch the show, kind of Tarantinoing it yourself. So anyone out there that hasn't watched The Sinner yet, you might want to just watch it out of order just for the fun of it.
Okay. I was going to say Sinner because I was also
Yep.
expecting Toker to be an answer.
I also had Toker written down. I was really struggling to remember the lyrics to that song.
But then the fact that it went Joker, Smoker, Picker, Grinner, Lover, I was thinking it was going to be like
Yep.
Loser or something.
I could not remember Grinner being a lyric, so I was
Really?
terrified. I for some reason couldn't pull that line out, and I was couldn't think of anything else. But yeah, let's go with Sinner.
Yep.
Is the Sinner a disc?
Okay, so every other one has been no. Sinner, no.
I don't like it either. Yeah, let's go no.
You are correct.
Okay, all right.
Alex and the J-Men, category 2 or 3?
We got to actually pick something now.
I have a semblance of category 3, so I don't know if it makes sense to
Yeah.
Remember that?
do that still.
I'm happy with going back to 3.
Let's do it.
All right, question 3, category 3, originally meaning one who renounces their faith. It's now used to describe anyone who rebels and becomes an outlaw. Originally meaning one who renounces their faith. It's now used to describe anyone who rebels and becomes an outlaw.
This is harder.
Yeah.
I'm thinking heretic
Oh.
is the first word that comes to
Ooh,
mind.
heretic's a good answer. Do we want to think about other things?
I'm certainly
Yeah,
trying,
same.
but
It's not doing any good.
Yeah, to me, a heretic isn't someone who renounces their faith. Like you
Yeah.
get labeled a heretic. But I don't have a better answer.
well, are you a heretic for renouncing your faith, though? Is it like how you get labeled? Oh, or is it just?
I mean,
someone
I thought it was you start doing something that the church doesn't like, and they're like, no, that's
Or-
heretical. Don't do
or-
that.
I mean, I don't think the church likes you renouncing.
Yeah, I
your
guess
faith.
heretical means goes against the faith, right?
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about pariah?
Ooh, that is a
I
good
don't know
one,
if there's
too.
any religious
Yeah.
connotation.
It certainly sounds
It
religious.
sounds outlawed. Like if you're a pariah or
Yeah.
outcast.
Yeah.
I think that's better, actually. Yeah, like a social pariah. Could we hear the question one more time?
Originally meaning one who renounced their faith, it's now used to describe anyone who rebels and becomes an outlaw.
I feel like pariah fits that better for sure.
What about heathen?
Heathen, I don't think that has an outcast kind of.
Yeah, I'd probably go pariah.
Yeah, I'm willing to go pariah. The heathen feels more barbarian-y to me, but I don't know. If you guys are feeling more strongly about that, I don't mind going with it.
Yeah, not.
I'd vote Pariah personally.
I'm good with that.
You guys going Pariah?
Yeah.
What do you got, Cole Randy?
I'm so happy they said pariah because that's the word I couldn't think of, but now I don't know. So is heretic the only other option, Corey?
Originally meaning one who renounced their faith, it's now used to describe anyone who rebels and becomes an outlaw.
Heretic.
Heretic.
You good with that?
Yep.
We're looking for Renegade.
Okay.
Dynamic Disc, April 4th, 2013. But that was a steal for you guys. It is tied at 8-8, Category 2 or Category 3. Cole Randy.
2.
How do you like geological features?
Yeah, I already gave out two other answers, so.
So we want to go to 2?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, question 2, Category 2. The collapse of the top of a volcano's cone often forms a bowl-shaped depression called what? The collapse of the top of a volcano's cone often forms a bowl-shaped depression called what?
You said this already, right, Corey?
I said crater.
Yeah, it's crater, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, like Crater Lake.
Ooh.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was not going to be with you because I typically only hear the word crater as relation to things hitting other thing, but that is a great point. Yeah, crater.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Alex?
Oh, you mother! You had me believe you, Randy.
I'm still confident.
Because of you.
Is it a caldera?
Can we hear the question one more time?
The collapse of the top of a volcano's cone often forms a bowl-shaped depression called
I
what?
thought Yellowstone was caldera, which is like different.
Could be. Caldera was definitely the term that came into my head as, the depression on top of a volcano. But I don't know. It's been a long time since I've tried to do anything
Same.
earth
I
sciencey.
thought the caldera was like a type of volcano, but I could be wrong on that also. It's the only thing we got so far.
Jacob, you got thoughts?
Nope. Nothing really coming to mind.
I'm trying to think of like Mount St. Helens collapse, but I don't any of them. Yeah, caldera is the only thing that I have heard that sounds like any close. Do we say crater again, just in case it's the right answer? Randy's sure.
I feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing else. It's caldera.
I do feel good about caldera. So if it's wrong, you can blame me.
You go with that, Jacob?
Yeah.
Is the caldera a disc?
Good job, Alex.
Caldera seems like a good name for a disc with a puddle top.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know what a caldera is?
I feel like, just geological features, like,
Yeah.
it's a good theme for discs in general.
I like
Yeah, you got a lot of options. I don't know if DGA does like geological features, but that sort of theme definitely seems up their alley.
I'm good to go with you.
Yeah, I like yes.
Yep.
Obsidian Discs, May 10th, 2016.
Appropriate.
All right, Alex and the J-Men, Category 2 or 3?
You want geological features or you want fighty guys?
Fighting. Let's go 3 again. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm genuinely happy going with either
Let's
one.
go fighty guys again, just because it sounds.
We go with 3? All right, question 4, Category 3. What 2020 number 1 hit by Megan Thee Stallion includes lyrics such as classy, bougie, ratchet, and sassy, moody, nasty? What 2020 number 1 hit by Megan Thee Stallion includes lyrics such as classy, bougie, ratchet, and sassy, moody, nasty?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. It's one of those, I'm sure I've heard this on the radio probably
Oh, yeah.
50 times, but
Yeah, and the thing is, I just know Corey's going to know it.
I think it's just something like...
If I strike you
know,
as someone that listens to pop songs on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
You strike me as someone who listens to more pop songs than I do.
I'll have you know, good sir.
Corey's radio doesn't even work. The sound of a heat shield rattle.
Yeah, the holes in his frame whistling.
Subaru owners, not me.
Yeah.
Anyways, the only thing that I can even think of that would start to fit the category is Warrior, but I have no reason to think that's actually it.
I also had Warrior in mind, but I don't know, for no other reason than it sounds like a good song.
I mean, yeah,
You guys agree?
I got nothing. So, yeah, let's go with Warrior.
Echo Randy, what do you got? What 2020 number 1 hit by Megan Thee Stallion includes lyrics such as classy, bougie, ratchet, and sassy, moody, nasty?
I'm a savage.
Nice.
Did you know that one, Randy?
No, I didn't.
I only knew it because
Because I listen to it every time I'm in my 1987 Ford pickup.
I got it on tape deck. And and Alex's fighty people comment is all your fault.
Here's the thing. The whole plot there was just try to get Corey to spite not answer it because he doesn't want to admit that he knew it.
Backfired on you.
I love that play.
You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is the Savage a disc?
I did not know that was her song.
Yeah, I don't know, one of the words you said triggered it in my head, but is the Savage? Yeah, it is.
I don't know. So like Savage, the clothing brand, rebranded to something else. Like literally because they didn't like the word Savage as if it's like negative connotation, and they like sponsor disc golf stuff.
Do they make discs?
They don't.
Then,
They
then I don't give a fuck what they do or don't do, Randy. We're trying to talk about discs right now, not clothing.
All right, fine. So you think yeah?
I think yeah.
All right, let's go with it.
You guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gateway Disc Sports, April 16th, 2009.
Oldie.
We are tied, but that was a steal, right?
That was
So
a
we're
steal.
back to the beginning, 10-10. Alex, am I right?
That's what I got.
6 questions left. Randy, category 2 or category 3? Got 4 questions in category 2, 2 questions in category 3.
Randy, that there's 7 apparel company now.
Thank you.
VII.
Yes, VII. That's right.
3.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Question 5, category 3, from Old English for boy. What other name for the playing card known as the jack sounds like the core part of a church? From the Old English for boy, what other name for the playing card known as the jack sounds like part of a church?
Cornerstone.
All right. It's got to be a fighty guy, remember?
Oh, right. Crusader. No. A word for boy.
Mm-hmm.
Also referred to as jack, but core to the
But it's
church.
also part of a church. You know your church anatomy? You got your steeples.
Okay, so we think it's like the physical church, like the actual building.
I thought that's what he meant, but yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is just like the members.
From the Old English for boy, what other name for the playing card known as the jack sounds like the core part of a church?
Core part of a church.
Like, not a priest. I feel like that's pretty core to a church. Kind of got to have one of those. Damn. Barbarian, mercenary, renegade, savage. All sound like very anti-church, but this one is core to it. What means boy? Damn it. What?
I know.
How do these things connect?
Do you ever like wonder what a jack when you're playing cards? You're like, what is a jack? But then you never find out the answer, and then it's a trivia question later in your life.
Actually,
That's where I'm
a
at.
great point, actually. What the hell is a jack?
Yeah, I like literally don't know what a jack is. It's like a playing card. They're like a member of like the royal family apparently, but no clue. Now that we're saying it,
Shit, I don't
fighty guys. It's not like it's not like a prince, right? Because no,
boy. Print.
I don't like it. No, we've had Prince not that long ago. It's no way it's Prince. What about like altar? Oh no, I think we had that too. This is awful.
Pillars.
Pillar. That's not a thing.
Prince.
Are we just gonna say Prince? Fine, Prince.
What do you got, Alex and Jaimen? From Old English for boy, what other name for the playing card known as the jack sounds like the core part of a church?
I mean, the only other name for a jack that I know is knave, but I don't know how to connect that to a part of a church.
I'm pretty sure nave is part of a church. That sounds
All right,
right.
I like that.
I went to Catholic school through 5th grade. I feel like I should know better, but it sounds
My
right.
guess was going to be bishop because it's a core part of the church. I don't know if it has anything with fighting, but I like knave for bishop.
Yeah, I think nave fits better.
I know knave is another name for a jack, and that is the extent of my definite knowledge, but I know that is a thing.
You guys good with knave?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Knave with a K is for the boy or the jack. NAVE is the part of a church. Is the nave a disc?
Is this nave with or without the K?
Either.
They're phonetical when it's whether it's a disc or not.
Gotcha. All right. I mean, it's kind of in that, right? Isn't it like a knave, like, there's like the steps to become a knight or something, right? There's like squire, and I don't know if that's one
It makes
of those
sense.
parts of that process, or if I'm making up everything.
Do you think
Yeah.
it is one?
I mean, I'm happy with going with the S.
Like, it kind of sounds, what I'm getting at is like the West Side
Yeah.
type of stuff, but I don't recognize it as a West
I don't
Side
think it's a
disc.
West Side
I don't
disc, but other companies have certainly used that ideally too. I'm fine with I know that there's like a British disc company, so
know. No, they would totally
Yeah.
make it
Yeah,
nave.
sure.
I say we go for it.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Say yes.
Say yes.
I'm sorry, no.
Dang.
But that was a steal. You're up by 1 point, and you get to pick category 2 or category 3.
I kind of want to.
Yeah. That was my thought, was go back to 2.
Sure.
You want to go back to 2? Question 3, category 2. What word can be used to describe a fissure between friends or a valley formed between two faults? What word can be used to describe a fissure between friends or a valley formed between two faults?
Sounds like a
Yeah,
rift.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
You guys agree?
Sounds good to me.
Is the rift a disc?
Yeah.
Should be a DGA
Yeah.
disc. disc.
Nice.
Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Disc Golf Association, August 1st. What year?
2017.
I was going to say 98.
1998?
No way, really?
No, 2098.
2098? Jacob, what do you got?
Oh gosh, I'll go somewhere in the middle. Say like 2008.
2018, May
Oh.
9th, 2018.
Almost.
All right. I thought your response was being surprised that I was right, not laughing at my answer.
Two companies, Disc Golf Association was August 1st, 2019. Obsidian Discs, May 9th, 2018. Apparently, there's two riffs, but 1998, that's still silly, Jamin. I'm sorry. No, I'm teasing. So 13 to 10, Co-Randy, category 2 or category 3?
Which one you like better, Randy?
I don't know. Nave came out of nowhere.
It did.
Do you want to try 2?
Let's just do number 3 just to get it over and done with.
Yeah, let's do it.
Final question, category 3. What was the title of Silent Bob's cousin Olaf's metal song in the 1994 film Clerks? What was the title of Silent Bob's cousin Olaf's metal song in the 1994 film Clerks?
I'm not going to get this.
No, you're supposed to know this
I
one.
don't know this one. I never really was a Clerks guy. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but not enough to know the brother, cousin, sister, wife's fucking metal song.
All right, Olaf sounds like a
Frozen.
black metal guy. So what would they title their song?
Grim Reaper. No, I know. But Fit the Crusader.
Yeah, come on, fighty guys.
I want to give Corey one line of the song.
Oh, can I give it to him?
Yes.
Would you like some making fuck?
That's not the line I would have picked, but that line works. So, Jamin, thank you.
You're welcome.
That didn't help me at all. Something Viking-y? Yeah, it's going to be a Viking-y kind of word.
Raider.
Oh, wait. No, okay. I'm going to go Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie, baby. Halo
Yeah.
Star Valkyrie.
You guys good?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you got, Alex and J-Man?
No.
Berserker.
You guys agree?
I mean, Jamin seems like he
It
knows
is,
it.
it's
So
Berserker.
I'm good with it.
Is the Berserker a disc?
I feel like that's a Viking disc, maybe.
Yeah, sounds like a
I'm
decent name.
muted this whole time. I did not know the song, but I do know Berserker is a Viking disc.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Black Zombie Disc Golf, May 31st, 2018.
Maybe
Damn
I did
Alex.
not.
That could be. A lot of times I'll just write down one of them. So 15 to 10, but we got 3 questions left, all from category 2. Alex and the J-Men, what word can mean a deep valley or canyon with steep sides or to stuff your face? What word can mean a deep valley or canyon with steep sides or to stuff your face?
Is it a gorge?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, I like it.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is the gorge a disc?
I don't know. I don't like it.
either.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird name. Let's go no.
Sure.
You are correct,
Nice.
which I think guarantees your victory, but
You never know. You never know.
we never know. Question 5, category 2 for Co-Randy. 19th century county supervisor Julian Chavez got what type of deep valley named for him in Los Angeles? 19th century county supervisor Julian Chavez got what type of deep valley named for him in Los Angeles?
Crevasse.
I was kind of thinking ravine, waiting for that to be an answer, but
Oh, that's way better.
is it?
I don't know. We can't win.
Oh yeah, right. A deep valley. Yeah, ravines.
Ravine sounds nice for Vegas. I don't know why I think that's better than
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I'm not listening
19th
anymore.
century county supervisor Julian Chavez got what type of deep valley named for him in Los Angeles?
I want to go Crater.
Crater or Silicon.
No, I know Valley. Valley would have fit a lot of these too. No, I think you're right with Ravine.
Sure, yeah, ravine.
You guys good with that?
So
Yeah.
good.
Where the Los Angeles Dodgers play, Chavez Ravine. Is the ravine a disc?
Oh, I did something a little too late though. What a dumb disc name. Probably be an MVP disc.
No, I don't like
Me neither,
it.
no.
Let's go no.
Meridian Discs, April 18th, 2024. The Ravine. Final question, your celebratory question, Alex and the J-Men. What term is used to describe a deep, steep-sided gorge or ravine? It's also the current alias of the genetic clone of Peter Parker, Ben Reilly. What term is used to describe a deep, steep-sided gorge or ravine? It's also the current alias of the genetic clone of Peter Parker, Ben Reilly. Evan would definitely get this one. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Feel like
Ben
I
Riley's a deep cut.
I think the answer is Timothy.
Okay. If we wanted to put a real answer at it, we're looking for something spider related that is also a gorge.
What term is used to describe a deep, steep-sided gorge or ravine? It's also the current alias of the genetic clone of Peter Parker or Ben Riley.
Peter Parker being Spider-Man.
Well, that's up to you to determine that.
Canyon?
outside
We
of my
use canyon.
Spider-Man knowledge.
We haven't used Canyon. There's a trapdoor spider that's got like a little bit of a pit and it's spider related.
Trench?
Yeah, I don't know how long we want to think about this. I'm not coming up with anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Canyon and trench.
Yep, whatever you guys want to go with.
I'll do Canyon, just because that was
Canyon?
first.
Canyon?
I don't know.
Sure.
What do you got, Randy? Make it tight.
I think it's Pitt, based off the spider thing, which I had thought of before Alex said it.
I don't like Pitt, but yeah, Pitt.
Yeah, I don't like it either as a name for a comic book character, but that's all I got. Pitt.
We were looking for Chasm.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Meridian Discs, August 12th, 2024.
Yeah, I was trying to imagine a comic book person named Pitt, or the
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't.
There was actually a question I did not give the answer to last week.
Oh.
I gotta scroll
it Pitt?
Oh
down.
yeah, I meant to ask about that.
Engage was not a disc.
I haven't slept thinking about that.
Thank you, Corey, Jaimen, Alex, Randy, and Jacob, and Sweet Up Hudson Valley. Thanks, everybody.
Nice bet.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Randy said he'd probably be on after putting league, but he's got to run it, so he's going to be there till the end. So there's a chance he won't make it. And I'm pretty sure Jason has, I believe he said something about overseeing his daughters making sweatshirts or something.
A lot of orders to fill.
Yeah, they hand stitch each
I
one.
figured they just ordered them. I don't know. Did they just do it on a Cricut or something? Or
I'm sure they
Well,
do.
it starts with planting crops at Greenville and then turning those crops into fibers and
real homegrown.
Got to make as much money for Minekill Disc Golf Championship as he can.
can be outsourcing that stuff when there's child labor available.
They sell them at a premium then. They're like real handcrafted.
Artisanal sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Someone even say gourmet.